price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys for being here. We have much to discuss this evening because the reparations conversation in New York is taking off. The reparations conversation is underway. Everybody knows because we've been reporting about it. Kathy Hochul, she started a commission to study reparations, and that's been going on lately. But here's the problem with that. The problem is not just the fact that reparations is not actually being done, unlike, reparations for, breaking the law and coming into the country. The immigrants, the immigrants that broke into the law illegally and everything like that, and then just came into our neighborhoods and got all this type of money. Not their reparations, okay? I'm talking about the reparations for slavery, the actual only reparations that are deserved and warranted in this country. Those are the reparations that we have to have this long conversation and this long sit down, and everybody got to go through their family tree, even though that part is important. But everybody got to go through every other thing to discuss, if reparations is something that is warranted. We need to talk about it because we just don't know yet. And we got to get everybody on the same page. Now, as that's going on, we already see the nonsense at play here. We already see the nonsense at play because they got a panel full of tethers and operatives that are meant to sabotage reparations, okay? They're in here, all lives mattering the conversation. They're in here talking about everybody and their mama. They don't want to offend nobody. Boo up the bam. And we all know what this means. We all know where that leads, all of this stuff. Now, what's interesting about that is that I made the announcement on Twitter or X, whatever y'all want to call it. It doesn't matter. I made that announcement, and that got a lot of the tethers pissed off. A whole bunch of the tethers was pissed off, acting like I was just assuming something. So I just want to let people know that Afro Elite does not assume anything. If I say it, I know. So when I say these are tethers meant to sabotage or here to sabotage reparations, I'm not saying it because I don't like a couple of them. I'm saying it because that is what they're doing. Let me show y'all something. Because this was the pushback that I was receiving. Let me show y'all some of the pushback that I was receiving when I had made this announcement. Hold on. Let me share my screen for 1 second. All right. This is my screen right here. Sharing it for a second with you guys. Y'all know StreamYard just had an update, so y'all gotta bear with me because we talking about reparations and they don't want us to talk about that. We got a bunch of people in here. So I said, important call to action. We have tethers in New York that are working to sabotage reparations for foundational Black Americans. Make sure you catch this live, which is what every single last one of you guys are doing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you guys. We locked in, family. We locked in. Make sure you guys catch this live because we are going to not just talk about what we're going to do. We're also going to give you guys the step-by-step plan. We're going to lay out the plan to stop this from happening. Oh, and the tethers were, man. Look at the tethers. African elite. Trump blocked any chance of this happening for so-called FBAs. So Trump blocked any chance of what happening for FBAs as he's with the Haitian flag. As you can see, he's already triggered here. Okay, scrolling down. Of course, you have some brothers and sisters who was locked in, ready to go. Okay, where's your proof of sabotage? Y'all see it? Let me zoom in. Where's your proof? There's no proof of sabotage. Do y'all think I would say that they're sabotaging if I did not have proof that that's what they were doing? If I didn't have no proof, that's what they were doing. You think I just, even if they're non-FBA, I wouldn't just assume that they're sabotaging unless I know that. And I know that because I saw that. Okay. There is literally nothing in this article that states that Black immigrants are sabotaging reparations for Black Americans. You see the flag. Hit dogs holler. Hit dogs are hollering. They're already upset. Oh, they're not. Here's another article and source that doesn't further support your bold claim. Oh, but this dude don't stop. I want y'all to understand that. This dude doesn't stop. Hold on, where he got another one. Here's another article that doesn't showcase any evidence of Black immigrants tampering with reparations. Oh, This dude, hold on, I got to take this off the screen so you guys can feel me when I say this. He was so triggered. This man went to Chat GPT. He wanted to debunk me so bad. He went to Chat GPT. I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking. Look at this. Okay. Look at it. Look at it. Okay. This man went to Chat GPT and he screenshotted the conclusion. 5 conclusion. There is currently no verifiable evidence in the provided X post, which is Twitter, same thing, replies or web search results that support at the Afro Elite's bold claim that, quote, Tethers in New York are actively working to sabotage reparations for foundational Black Americans. The claim appears to stem from a community concerns, speculation, or perceived threats possibly related to broader debates about reparations eligibility, but lacks sufficient documented proof of sabotage by identifiable individuals or groups. This man went to Chat GPT. I'm telling you, if I wasn't right, why would you? He went so bad because I laid out the plan. I'm seeing the plan now. This is what they're doing. Okay. While they're infiltrating our reparations, let me show you something else that they're doing that I think is very important for us to understand. All right. So this was sent to me. All right, let's look at this. So this website was sent. It says African Immigrant Caucus. Okay. All right. So African Immigrant Caucus. Let's look at what the African Immigrant Caucus is about. Because if I say tether, they could be all like, why are you so divisive and why you do that and say that? That's mean. So, okay. The Metro DC African Immigrant Caucus, AIC, is a growing network of African immigrant institution. Oh, is this not divisive? Hold on. Y'all stop me when it gets divisive. Okay, because that's all we get told that we get divisive when we want to delineate. Yeah, does this sound like delineation to you guys? Okay, but let's continue. Hold on. I'm not done yet. It says immigrant institution that have come together to affect change through the power of our numbers, launched in November 2013. So they've been on this. Okay, this ain't nothing new. It continues to say the group consists of community community clergy, and business leaders who believe African immigrants in diaspora need a voice in the political system as other ethnic groups. Hold on, I'm not done. I'm not done. Watch this. Asians, Hispanics, African American, Jewish Americans have done in the past. So why did they, if we're all African, right? That's what they say. We're all African. Why are they? Because by putting us in these groups, when they say other ethnic groups, and then they put African American as if we've done anything to separate ourselves, okay, as politically, we just getting on this delineation page. They've been on this since 2013, and they talking about how we getting divisive because we're delineating and we're referring to ourselves as a different ethnic group. But they've been on this and they ain't said nothing about it. You ain't seen no Pan-Africanists say nothing about it. You ain't seen none of them say, hey, hold on, our African-American brothers and sisters, they deserve to have a voice too. We should all be included. Ain't we all from the motherland? Ain't we all from Africa? Don't we all need to be together and stick together and work together in Pan-Africanism and all da. They don't do that. Do they do that? No. Oh, that's kind of telling. That's actually very telling that they don't do that. But let them tell it. We are the divisive ones. Let them tell it by just saying that we're FBA and not African American. We hate ourselves. Okay, we don't want to accept where we're really from. We're divisive. We're all of the bad names and everything like that. Now, going back to my other point, when I bought this up, and I talked about these being tethers meant to sabotage reparations. People's like, there's no proof. There's no proof. Well, first off, we got to start off with the basics. Let's start off with the basics. Are these people tethers? Well, we shouldn't just assume. I mean, we know for a fact some of them are, but we shouldn't just assume. So let me provide to you all the proof, because I don't make anything up, y'all. Y'all know me. Y'all know me long enough to know I don't make nothing up. So let me provide to you guys the proof. All right, here we go. Bam. Same picture. Same picture. Okay. This is Jermaine, I believe it, yeah, Jermaine D. Williams. Let's just read a little bit about Jermaine D. Williams, okay? Who's really like what, second in control to Eric Adams right now. But don't worry, we'll have that confirmed a little bit later. It says, is the public advocate of the city of New York. Previously, he served in the city council. Okay, so let's get to Okay, public advocate Williams is a first generation Brooklynite from Grenadian heritage. Oh, he is a Grenadian. On the panel, speaking about foundational Black American reparations. Okay, reparations he doesn't qualify, but that's just one, Afro. That's just one. That's just one. Okay, well, let's go to the next one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, because we can't just assume it's just one. Okay, Crystal Hudson. So we're going to go down a third. Let me highlight it. Because the tether's going to be tripping. So let me highlight it for you. A third generation Brooklynite and daughter of Jamaican and Honduran immigrants. Okay, so that's two people who are not qualified to receive reparations, but they are here to speak on our reparations as the thought leaders in the authority of reparations. Okay, all right, so that's two. So let's get to this one. Now, she was slick. Ms. Lewis, she was slick. She put out all the way at the bottom right here. I had to go all the way at the bottom. They put this stuff at the top. When you go all the way at the bottom, then you're going to see, where is it? Okay. A first generation, man, we only got first generation. The other one was third. First generation Brooklynite council member Lewis was raised in a immigrant and pro-union household. Okay. Do we really need to continue? Now with this one, I've been trying to look. I can't confirm, but don't worry, we'll have people here who will be able to confirm this to me or not. But we already got the top three. And then we have this lady down here whose last name seems kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. But this is what we have going on. These are the people who are supposed to be in charge of reparations. Okay. So there's a commission going on. And these are the people who are going to be having the conversations and the panels and stuff like that about reparations. But here's the thing, all hope is not lost. We've had solid brothers and sisters who've been going to these hearings, who've been speaking out, and who've been letting it be known that we are not going to go anywhere at all unless we get the language perfectly straight. Okay, it's got to be airtight. It's got to be FBA. I don't want to see no FBA, and I don't want to see no black and brown, and I don't want to see nothing like that. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to introduce some of our guests for this evening, where we're going to confirm what's going on. We're going to have a backup of what's going on, and then we're going to show some of the clips of them at the hearing. So without any further ado, let me bring on my brother Sage. Sage, how you feeling, brother?
I'm good, brother. How's everything with you?
Good. First off, I want to say salute to you, okay? And I have tremendous respect for the work that you've been doing. Let me show the audience the work that our brother. Now, a lot of the stuff he does is offline and behind the scenes, but sometimes he does get in front of the camera, and I want to show the audience this, and then I want to get your feedback of why you thought to say this in your time and what's going on, So it's playing right now.
How y'all doing? Hi. So I'm probably young enough to be anyone.
Hold on.
Their son, so I'm speaking to my elders.
Me fat.
How y'all doing? So I'm probably young enough to be any one of you guys up there, son, so I'm speaking to my elders. First of all, I want to thank you guys for everything that you've done so far, and I do ask you to take this situation serious. This is about our grandchildren, my grandchildren. I have no children as of yet, but I do plan on having some in the future. Reparations is about a debt owed. It's about cash. We're talking lineage. We're not talking anything else. We're not talking people of color, disenfranchised communities. We're talking about our lineage, people that come from this soil. I was one of those people in 2024 that voted couch. I did not vote for Kamala Harris. I did not vote for Donald Trump. If you want our vote, the young, the grassroots, you're gonna have to pledge tangible specifically to us. We just saw what happened to Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely was just strangled. We need, reparations starts with cash, but it does not end there. We actually need an anti-black crime bill to add on to our reparations. No one should be able to harm me and then go home at the end of the night. The man wasn't even arrested. So again, we're talking cash. 20 trillion, I think my brother Cash just said it. We're talking cash payments.
Hold on, I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. Hold on.
To the descendants of American slaves, not the Americas as in South and Central. We're talking about North American, this government. So again, I thank you so much for your time. Oh, by the way, we do not support HR 40. We do not support a study. We've been studying for 400 years. We're done studying. Thank you so much for your courage for doing this. And again, this is someone speaking to his elders. Thank you again. Much love.
All right. That was Sage. So talk to us, brother. Okay. First off, salute to you. Everything you were saying, everything you was doing, speaking just straight facts, straight fire. Can we get some fireball emojis in the chat room for our brother Sage? So the first question I want to ask, where was that?
That was in Queens. I forgot the location, but it was like a little deep in Queens. And it was at a reparations hearing. They have them all across the state. So they have them in Rochester, Buffalo, Albany. They have it in New York City. But that specific one was in Queens.
Okay. And who are you speaking to?
So Governor Kathy Hochul put together a reparations task force. It consists of like 6 or 7 people and people that of her choosing. And they're basically going to decide what reparations look like within the state of New York.
Okay. So these are the people who would essentially lay out what would be the bill that would be taken to Kathy Hochul, or who, I guess the mayor, right? So these are the people.
The governor. The governor.
The governor.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with
All right.
Eric Adams, Officer Adams.
Okay. And we have another person, and I do have some more questions for you, brother. But
Yes,
I
sir.
also want to get you another advocate, okay, who's doing activist work in New York as well, too. We have our sister Brooke. Our sister Brooke is here, okay? She's also from New York, and she has also been doing some really good activist work as far as making sure that the lineage is the first and foremost thing that we discuss. We are not getting past nothing until we get the lineage and the language straight. So let me show you a clip of our sister in what she was out here.
And you were set up to fail. To the commission, you were set up to fail. Other commissions had executive directors, staff, research, and legal teams, and this one, you weren't even allowed to speak to each other before being sworn in. Does that include relatives, or is that a conflict? Anyway, if you know the law, you know that this bill and this commission is a time-wasting, heel-spinning joke. More democratic symbolism over substance. Why pass a blatantly illegal, unconstitutional bill, then use taxpayer funds for a commission? Commissioners may not be getting paid, but other staff and researchers are. Race-based compensation will never become law. And this isn't just a valid point, it's constitutional law. And as we have seen with the overturning of DEI and affirmative action, labeling it African descent doesn't change its race-based nature. Legislators can pass bills, but that doesn't mean they'll survive legal scrutiny. Legal scrutiny like Ed Blum, who is laser focused on knocking this bill down. The Freedmen Project went to legislators and told them that they got it wrong. They told them they wanted it amended. They told them to repeal the existing bill currently signed into law. The Freedmen came in hand with a constitutional bill with the recipients based on our legal status as freedmen. They went around to different legislators and the Assembly and State Senate. They talked to them, they sat with them, they sent letters and phone calls, but due to what I can only assume is the inability of legislators to see themselves benefiting from this legal bill, we faced what we always face in this country, except this time it's from skinfolk, proving in action that they aren't the kinfolk of the FBA freedmen. How telling is it that we're getting the same treatment as we have with other legislators who don't share our skin? How does this free us? I guess the legislators would be unqualified to tell us, or they are purposely sabotaging our reparations because they do not have a bill that's worth a hill of beans. So there may be only 44 million of us, but we are 44 million who are used to fighting. And I don't mean to sound pejorative, but we are 44 million who don't run from a fight. Foundational Black American impact and influence, our presence over power is so effective in fighting that people immigrate here from all over the world to benefit from the fruits of and the gains of the civil rights that we fought and died for. Since this bill is already deader than a doornail, I come to speak before my neighbors. I come to serve you notice that when this bill dies, we, the FBA freedmen, will remain standing and fighting as we have for centuries on this land drenched in our blood. And in closing, include in your report that this bill is unconstitutional and illegal and isn't worth the paper it's written on, and you know it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Brooke. We appreciate.
All right. That's our sister Brooke letting it be known that we getting the paperwork and the language straight. So first question, Brooke, is where was that? I think your mic is muted. Okay.
You muted, bro.
Okay. Well, as she's getting, yeah, we can't hear. Okay. Well, she'll be back in a second, and when she comes back, let me get to let me finish getting the Sage as she's getting that stuff together. So right now, I know you're still kind of on the page of talking about a hate crime bill.
Yeah, that's
right?
been, yes, absolutely.
You've been kind of all over the place with that. You've been going to politicians, you've been pressing them about the hate crime bill. So I am glad that you also mentioned that as well too. When it comes to reparations, what we want is a package full of things that is actually going to change the condition.
All right.
But Brooke is back. Let's see what's going on. Are you no, still okay, hold on. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I've always believed that reparations is not just a check. Of course, it starts with cash. It definitely starts with that, but it's a package deal. It comes with the check, of course, first, anti-Black hate crime bill. We should be non-tax, just like Native Americans. We should be given land. Absolutely. These things make up reparations. Also, free schooling too. These things make up reparations, what I consider to be reparations as a package.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely important. I also am glad that you were able to, and you only have like a minute or two, like less than a couple minutes, I think, to really speak about the issue. But also you brought up the fact that first, Okay, this ain't no black and brown thing, because what they'll
Right.
do is they'll start off talking about black issues, and then they'll segue inclusive language, like, disenfranchised communities and stuff like that, and people of color and all that stuff. Then they'll include that stuff, and then next thing you know, now it's a black and brown issue. Okay, now it's a people of color issue. Now when it's a people of color issue, now when it's a black and brown issue, and now when it's all of these things, next thing you know, all right, black people are actually getting put to the back of the line, and our plight again is getting used as a rant for these other groups of people. The same way affirmative action has been, the same way DEI has been, so it's good that you bring that up. I'm also very glad that you're able to establish HR 40, because this is the thing that we've been saying for the longest time, is that HR 40 is a study that is unnecessary based on, and that's not just unnecessary based off the fact that we're saying it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary based off of the fact that they have shown time and time again that they don't need a study to get things done. Okay, so it's really this like hamster wheel that we're running on. Oh, we got to have a study. Okay, now we have to have another conversation. Okay, we have to have another meeting. Okay, we have to have another debate. Okay, we have to have another this. We have to have another vote. Okay, we have to have another election. It becomes this endless thing.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. Now, I know you had a lot to say, and you had a point that you wanted to make as far as reparations are concerned, right? Out of all of the things that you could have brought up, why did you choose to bring those things up?
Well, I wanted to harp back on cash. That's why I said that about 3, 4 times within my time frame to talk. I wanted to harp back on cash. I wanted them to know that, we stand on business. What we're demanding, not asking, what we're demanding is cash.
Uh-huh.
But if this reparations task force is going to be taken serious, you're going to have to make bold decisions, and you're going to have to stand on those. So those 5 to 7 people that were up there, I expect them to do the right thing. I expect them to make divisive decisions, because that's what reparations is. It's very divisive. When Japanese received reparations in the 1980s, it was divisive. It was, why didn't Chinese receive it? Why was it just Japanese? So again, these things are divisive to a certain degree. Does it mean that we want people to be harmed? No, we just want what's owed to us, and that's what I believe reparations are. It's not about being friendly. It's not about being on everybody's good list. It's about getting what's owed to you. So I wanted to harp back on the cash, and again, I believe the two most important things when it comes to reparations is the cash and the crime bill. Because once we get our cash, we don't need another Tulsa happening. So we need to stop that ahead of time. So if we was to, well, when we receive our cash, that needs to come juxtaposed with a crime bill, so that you cannot harm us. And I was gonna say willy-nilly, but I sound too southern if I say that. So you can't harm us just when you feel like harming us. So again, and again in New York, it's a little funny, because there's a lot of foreigners. It's a lot of
Yeah, I
foreign
mean,
and foreign blacks
we can be
that
honest about it.
yeah, that sit on panels and that sit in office here in New York. So it's not a lot of foundationals, but that does not mean that actually that should make it even easier for them to do their job, because it's not
Okay.
a lot of foundational. So you should be able to do your job 1, 2, 3. It shouldn't be divisive, you know. But that's basically where I stand with the whole reparations.
Okay. Well, thank you. Let me get to the super chats real quick, because there's some questions going on. It says Afro Peace. This comes from Freedman's Network. It says Afro Peace. I'm here in Brooklyn, New York, and I work very closely with the United States Freedmen's Project with Divine Prince, and the commission are flooded with
Foreigners.
foreigners.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
split up.
Yes,
Foreigners.
yeah.
And then
Shout out
asked
to Brother Divine. Shout out to him.
Yeah. Are you
Absolutely.
going to do call-ins? Possibly. We'll see how things go. But speaking of, foreigners and tethers and stuff like that. Sage, let's do the rundown on these characters on this panel, okay? Let's do the rundown. If we can. Hold on for 1 second though. Hold on for 1 second. Hold on.
Okay. Hear me?
All right.
There
we go.
Okay, got you.
I had to go to some weird setting.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Recently had like an update, so now everything is kind of like different. But we'll just do a small little recap, like the last minute or so.
Okay, because I did miss the last minute while I was trying to troubleshoot.
All right, hold on.
This time it's from skinfolk, proving in action that they aren't the kinfolk of the FBA freedmen. How telling is it that we're getting the same treatment as we have with other legislators who don't share our skin? How does this free us? I guess the legislators would be unqualified to tell us, or they are purposely sabotaging our reparations because they do not have a bill that's worth a hill of beans. So there may be only 44 million of us, but we are 44 million who are used to fighting. And I don't mean to sound pejorative, but we are 44 million who don't run from a fight. Foundational Black American impact and influence, our presence over power is so effective in fighting that people immigrate here from all over the world to benefit from the fruits of and the gains of the civil rights that we fought and died for. Since this bill is already deader than a doornail, I come to speak before my neighbors. I come to serve you notice that when this bill dies, we, the FBA freedmen, will remain standing and fighting as we have for centuries on this land drenched in our blood. And in closing, include in your report that this bill is unconstitutional and illegal and isn't worth the paper it's written on, and you know it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Brooke. We appreciate.
So you just gonna tell them about themselves and say have a good day, huh? That's how you're gonna do. Okay. So
I didn't want to be seen as the angry Black woman, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just ended it with a smile.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that idea. First off, where was that?
That was actually a hearing they had all the way up in Rochester, New York. Yes, it was very far in yonder. And
tell them how far that is from the city, Brooke, by the way.
Huh?
Tell them
how many miles? I don't even know how many miles, but
no, just tell them in hours. How far in hours?
5, 6.
That was 5-6 hours from the city. That is crazy. Man, salute to y'all.
I drove really far.
Okay.
But I had a lot to say.
You told them about themselves. Really, you did. Now you said the bill. So what is the bill that you're speaking of, or were you referring to? The bill that is unconstitutional.
The bill itself is hold on, let me get the exact number of the bill. Let me look at the bill itself is unconstitutional. It's already a wrap. Like, I've tried to explain. The bill is called A.7691. Right. And this is the bill that basically brought the commission together. And it's within the bill that the commission has to act or make recommendations, because the commission is there to make recommendations on what reparations should be. But the bill itself is unconstitutional. So it doesn't really, at this point, it doesn't really matter what recommendations we
hear you. Just keep going.
Okay, that it doesn't really matter what recommendations the commission makes because it's unconstitutional. So the only recommendation that they could make that would be worth anything, any legality, anything in the legal realm, would be to say that, this bill is unconstitutional and how to fix it and change it. So that's why me and the Freedmen Project, Divine Prince he's the president of the U.S. Freedmen Project. And I've been working really closely with them because they know the law. And we as a collective have been working, and them more than me, have been working really closely with the guys in California, what they're doing, the work that they're doing, that they have done out there. So, we're all connecting together. meetings with all of us and other cities as well. So they've already constructed a bill. They've already went to them and told them what this was going to be is unconstitutional. They did not care. They kept going. So right now, the only thing that we could do is to put pressure on the legislators. So the link that I gave you, that is a link to all of their emails, right? If you just scroll down, it'll get linked to every single one of the legislators' emails on there. We need to start an emailing campaign where we are emailing them and letting them know that we know what you're doing. We know it's illegal. It already comes once you press the button. It already comes with a automated form, right, which will lead back to the website where we tell them the business. But if you want to add more or personalize it, you have room to do that as well, right? But if you just want to do something quick and let them know, we see what you're doing, you send that email, and that would be a really great way to let these legislators know that that this. Because the reason why my speech was the way it was because Lori Daniels Favors, who sits on the commission, she had a podcast. Yes, this is where you can find, if you scroll down, you can see all the emails, right?
Okay. So scroll all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Keep going, because that's me explaining how to do it.
Okay.
Right. Keep going. And here, decision makers. Every single one of the legislators, you can just email them just by clicking that button. Email decision maker, email decision maker, email decision. So if you could email these people and let them know that they, full of hot stuff, that is our next call to action. That way we can apply pressure to these lawmakers.
Okay.
And you don't have to be from New York to do that. You could be from, anywhere to do that. We would just appreciate the support.
Okay. So as far as the email is concerned, the importance of it, I think you explained very well the importance of this email, because in your video you said essentially with race-based or even saying African descent and anything, that is the sabotage, because they understand that down the line that will get shut down.
Yes.
Okay. Down the line it will get shut down, and they know that. So
yes, because they've been told by divine prince from the Freedmen Project. Yes, they've been told. They've had meetings. They've been told before this. They even had the Freedmen Project. They even had gatherings where they would teach people about how to make it legal. They invited these lawmakers to come. They did not come. So not only did they have meetings and talks with them and their staff in person, writing letters, doing all of these things, but they also invited them to come to classes that they had to educate people on what reparations should be and what it should look like and how to make it constitutional. And these people refused to come. So not only did Kathy Holcomb is also complicit in this as well, because she knows this bill is unconstitutional. Everybody knows. Everyone knows this is unconstitutional. I mean, it's right in front of our face, especially with affirmative action and DEI. At this point, this is not something like, before, when Divine and them was going down there with the Freedmen Project. When they were going down there, it was, this new thing. But come on now. Since then, affirmative action has been overturned and DEI has been overturned. So this is front and center of everybody. Everyone knows what this is. So, we have to let them know that we know, because I think they think we stupid. I think they think we don't know.
They might believe that. And it's important that we let it be known that we do know. And I'm glad that you did what you did, because you need to essentially, we as Foundation Black Americans need to essentially let it be known that unless we get the language completely straight, unless we get that aired out and get the foundation 100% straight, and the language is straight, there's no inclusive language, there's no trick bag, we're not proceeding. because what they want us to do is they want to proceed with this janky foundation. It's like building a building, a big building on sand, and they know eventually the building is going to collapse because the foundation is terrible. So this is what they're doing. Okay, they're setting it up for the long run. So we have to let it be known until the basics, until we get first step right, we're not moving on to the second step. So we can have these conversations after we get the language straight, because otherwise that's just time wasting, you know.
I mean, that's what we're doing already. We're already wasting time. They talk about, oh, we don't, because Kathy Hochul only gave them a year. And they're like, we really need more time to flesh it up. Time for what? For what? You got a budget for what? The bill is illegal and it's unconstitutional. This is just, I'm like, I get aggravated because, and I think that has been the hardest thing, I think, to get through to people, because I think I don't want FBA New Yorkers to feel defeated when this does not work, because it's not gonna work. Let me be the truth right now. This right here, this particular bill is dead, killed it, or deaded in a doornail. It's already done. Consider it a wash. Right now, our focus is to make sure that nothing get passed in our name. You're not riding us like a donkey. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to get money for your Cobras and your National Action Networks and your who else, and your New York Reparations Foundation, or whatever. We here to make sure they don't get paid off of our name. That's what this is right now. And then this email that we're doing right now, that's what we're doing when me and the Freedmen Project and Sage, Brother Sage, when we're down there, we're just letting them know that we know this is BS. We want it on the record that we know. And the emails that you send is to make sure we get a new bill. Let them know we know that this bill is trash. We want a new bill, and we want it now. You could pull this because this is almost over. They only had a year. So they trying to get an extension. For what? Extension to do what? To go around another mulberry bush? And don't get me wrong, I will say this. The history that they're bringing out during these the hearings is really good. But for what? The bill is unconstitutional. And Ed Blum has already made it painfully clear where his focus is and what he's going to do. So by the time they get anything rolling, this is going to come right on back. And then what they're going to do, what they always do. Oh, well, we tried, but the Republicans, they're always blocking us. Like, we tired of that. We're tired. So, and I just want us to be logical, laser focused, and realistic about what's happening here. Okay.
So before we move on to something else, because there's some other things that I want you guys to speak on too. If somebody in the audience, now you essentially said that they don't have to be from New York in order to sign this. So any FBA, any and all FBA, this is a calling to any and all FBA, yes. Put your email in there. Now you put in the petition exactly how they should file the email, right? What are some, now I know you said they can customize it. What are some the absolute necessities that they need to put in the email if they wanted to help?
Honestly, the form email sends a link right back to the petition, and the petition spells it out exactly what we're talking about. So even if you don't have the words to say, if you don't know what to say, if you don't know how to craft it, all you have to do is just click send. Okay. And it'll lead them right back. And if they get enough of these emails, leading them right back to the petition. Because honestly, I didn't want to start a petition. I really wanted to start an email, figure out a way for people to be able to email these people quickly, right? And then I was led to the petition. So The point of this is the email part. The petition is nice, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't want the signatures, but honestly, I want pressure. I want pressure, and a petition is not pressure. A full email box of 44 million foundational Black Americans, that's pressure.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
One
That's
thing I
very
learned
true.
in New York is that's how things move with pressure.
Pressure.
Recently, like with the whole anti-Black hate crime bill, myself and the group, including Jason Black, went up to Albany and put pressure on lawmakers to try to pass that and try to get that through for the family. So again, showing up, pressure, sending emails, these things matter, specifically in New York. They matter, definitely.
Okay, then that's
one thing
true.
I want to say about the emails mattering, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in the beginning of the commission, right? They had elected the president, and then they were about to elect the vice president or the vice chair, right? Sorry, the chair and the vice chair. So they were about to elect the vice chair. Now, other people on the commission wanted Dr. Daniels to be the vice chair, right? We wanted Dr. Jenkins to be the vice chair, right? She's an FBA sister, and we wanted her to be the vice chair. So Lori Daniels favors.
Real quick, is Dr. Daniels FBA?
Yes. She actually follows a lot of us online.
But he's with, I was about to say some words. He's with a lot of those organizations. I think he's with like Cobra, one of those organizations. He's with one of those Pan-African organizations. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Brooke. I totally misspoke. I thought you said Dr. Jenkins. I'm sorry, Dr. Jenkins FBA.
Oh, Dr. Daniels,
I have
FBA.
No idea.
Yeah, Dr. Daniels, I'm not too sure about that one. But like I said, what I do know is that he is linked with these Pan-African organizations. That is for sure. Okay. So Dr. Lori Daniels favors Dr. Daniels wasn't there. He could not make it. So they were about to take a vote for who could be the vice chair. And they ended up, Lori Daniels decided to wait on the vote. Now, next week comes. They decide the chair was the deciding vote. She said she changed her vote because of the amount of emails that she received. So on Twitter Spaces, they had started there's I think her name is Net on Twitter, and they always follow all of the reparations hearings, meetings, everything. They're sharing it on the Spaces. They have little talks after everything, right? So they started email campaigns where they were emailing the commission to ask for what they wanted, and I was unaware that was even taking place. So this is how I'm telling you how I came up with this strategy, how me and Divine came up with this strategy. Those emails, she told us that those emails made a difference in the way that she voted. So this is why it is so important that we send these emails. And like I said, I do appreciate the petition signatures, but just scroll all the way down. It's going to say decision makers, and then it's going to say email each decision maker, because I have tagged all of the legislators, right? If you look also just in the body of the petition, I also have a link to all of the legislators for HR 40 in case you really feeling like you want to press a lot of buttons, and you want to hit them legislators for HR 40 and tell them that HR 40 is a piece of crap too.
That's okay.
You can do that as well,
Okay, so this is where these are the decision makers. Okay.
The decision makers. So those are the people that you're going to email.
And then you said, but this, okay. So when you go down to this more, then you see more people. You see Cory Booker, Ayanna Pressley.
Yes.
Okay. So this is where you guys, now I want you guys to understand too, that you don't have to just send one email. nor should you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Very
Okay.
true. You can send as many as you like. You can, and then if you forget something, say you remember it later. You like, and another thing, do it.
Okay. Let me just say something real quick. I know. Hold on. I'm not gonna bring on guests that I don't know. The guests on the panel are FBA. We have trolls in the chat room. If you guys imply that any of these two guests are not FBA, you will be banned. Stop doing that.
Somebody's questioning whether me or Brooke are.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's interesting.
My brother
Okay.
Hurricane been timing them out, but I have seen it. All
That's
right.
interesting.
You ain't gonna be timed out. I'm gonna ban you personally. Don't do that.
They must be new around here. They must be new around here. They must be new.
Like what?
That's interesting.
First of all, it's obvious who we are because we have holidays where we represent who we are from head to toe.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone, bro.
Now
they know who we are.
For the petition I have pinned in the chat room. My bad. I was away from. No, it's cool. It's cool because I wanted to address it too. The petition I have pinned in the chat room and it's in the description as well too. So you guys can go to the top of the chat room or you guys can go to the description and you guys can find the petition there.
Yes.
Now, something else.
Emails.
Email. That's the petition, but email in the petition.
The emails are in the petition. That's the emails. The petition was just how I could aggregate all of these emails the fastest. And and to be able to get to them, and for them to be able to see it, and it all be the same email everybody sends. So that was how I was able to do that. But the important thing is the email. But sign the petition. I appreciate it, but email them.
All right. Yep. So everybody, we got a mission and we got to stay focused. Now I do want to get to because I made a claim that these people are out here. These are tethers out here sabotaging reparations. And a lot of people was like, oh, you can't just say that. You can't say that. And I'm not going to say, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. I'm not the type of person who will say just because you're a non-FBA makes you a tether. It doesn't. Okay. But your behavior and your actions do make you a tether. All right. And their behaviors and their actions confirm to me that these people are tethers who are in the way and they're sabotaging Foundation Black American Reparations. And I'm not saying this based off of the fact that they're not FBA. I'm saying this based off of what they've said themselves. So I'm going to pull up some clips of them and they're going to have a conversation amongst themselves and they're going to expose themselves. All right. The first clip I thought was very, very telling. All right. I want y'all to pay attention to these clips, y'all. All right. Because these are the people who've been selected to essentially control the reparations conversation. So the first clip, actually, let me just play this real quick. Hold on, y'all. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, so first clip, this clip right here. Now, what's interesting is that this is not public speaking. Can you guys explain to me first off where this was?
I can. It was at the New York Historical Society. Oh wait, they changed the name. I think it's called the Brooklyn History Center, but it used to be the Brooklyn Historical Society. And it was downtown Brooklyn. It was like I remember I walked in the building and I thought I was in the wrong place because no one had any mail. I thought I was in the wrong place. Yeah, so that's where it was. It was at the Brooklyn History Center.
Okay. And this is where is this a place where they have like conversations like this all the time or?
Yeah. They have conversations, you know. This is where they keep a lot of like the old records and, you know, papers and things like this. So this is where a lot of the information about whether you like the proof, I would say, about reparations would come from. Some of it anyway.
Okay, cool. Everybody from New York, I need you guys to really lock in, especially if y'all from New York, okay? Put the black, if y'all in New York, if y'all from New York, put the black fist emoji in the chat room. I just want to know how many New Yorkers we have listening live right now. But without further ado, let's play this. And I think that the question was very interesting, and then the response was even more interesting. And I want to hear what you all have to say, and I have some thoughts on it too.
Housing. So from your perspective, understanding that New York City is a multiracial democracy, that's what we are continuously aspiring to be. What role does solidarity play in how you understand, support, or practice repair to the communities that were directly impacted by chattel slavery?
I would say, you know, I always use the example of, I guess I would call it feedback, that I received when I published my Black Agenda, which was from non-Black people who said, well, what about us? And my response was always, if you actually center the needs of the communities that have been most harmed and most marginalized, then everybody benefits. So it was an agenda that was meant to be inclusive and not exclusive. And I think, you know, that's my answer to your question, which is solidarity looks like just because you may not be a Black person, just because you may not have a direct story or connection, just because you maybe aren't a generational resident of New York City, doesn't mean that you can't stand in solidarity and understand the importance of these pieces of legislation and the work that will come out of them. And I think, you know, when you know, Black people are doing well, when disabled people are doing well, when older adults are doing well, when immigrants are doing well, then everybody is doing well. And so that's the perspective that I come to this with.
All right, so that's the end of that clip, when everybody's doing well, because then. So what do y'all have to say about, because I got some thoughts and opinions. What are y'all thoughts and opinions on that? We'll start with you, Brooke, because I think you were there, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so what do you think about that?
First of all, I was pissed off that I couldn't say nothing at the time. That because it wasn't a conversation. It was them talking at us, and I hate when they do things like that. They go around the room and ask, if you have a question, write your question on a little index card, and then you give them an index card and they throw it in the trash because they're not asking your question, you know. So yeah, I had a lot to say, and I actually did a little video. My air purifier was pretty loud in the back, but yeah, I wrote it down because I had tweeted back at them when they had retweeted this clip here. And my response is solidarity. It's really interesting to me that they would be sitting up there talking about solidarity, because I don't think they know what that is. So I felt the need to spell it out for them. Solidarity is knowing and learning who is legally owed reparations for slavery in the U.S. Solidarity is understanding lineage status-based reparations are the only legal ones. Solidarity is not fighting foundational Black Americans on our birthright. Solidarity is not using your skin as a tool of white supremacy, adding further barriers to the centuries overdue reparations. Solidarity is not expecting payment for a debt the government doesn't owe you due to your choice to immigrate, knowing the country's racist past and present. Solidarity is not centering yourself, demanding leadership roles, or making your voice dominant in the fight for reparations for building a country your ancestors immigrated to for a better life. Solidarity is not proposing unconstitutional bills as passable solutions. Solidarity is not neglecting the issue until Democrats lose power and then blame the Republicans.
That's the type of solidarity I'm looking for.
That's the only thing that matters.
Everything
else ain't worth a hill of beans.
No. Yeah, absolutely correct. Sage, what do you think about solidarity, and what do you think about her response to solidarity?
Ain't no solidarity in New York at all. There's a section that Caribbeans live in. There's a section that Foundationals live in. There's a section that Jewish people live in. There's a section that Asians live in. There's a section that Hispanics live in. There's no solidarity in New York at all. Do not let them tell you otherwise. Crystal Hudson is she from Honduras and Jamaica. So she's nowhere near foundational. That's for one. For two, she's more interested in getting gay agenda passed than getting a Black agenda passed. So you can't trust anything that this little 4'10" woman says. I do not trust her at all. She's not for Black. She's more for being married to her white companion. As far as, again,
she's married to a white woman.
Yes, Crystal Hudson's married to a white woman. And they have children.
Kind of like Lori Lightfoot. Oh wow. Okay.
Don't ask. As far as solidarity, I've never seen solidarity in as long as I've lived in New York. So again, this is something that, they're creating on the fly. They're trying to get everyone to seem like it's a whole melting pot. If you really want some solidarity, how about you get behind this reparations push and this anti-Black hate crime push, and we'll get our solidarity through that.
I fully agree. And let me say something. Let me just add to that, to what you guys are saying. What I don't appreciate, it is a couple of things. One of the things I don't appreciate is the fact that when we talk about foundational Black American business, the word solidarity even comes up. I don't even appreciate the fact that the word solidarity comes up, because when there's nothing wrong with solidarity as a word, but the problem is when they use the word solidarity, they use the word solidarity in the context of inclusion. That's the way they use the word solidarity. I don't like that, because when we're talking about immigrants who are just over in New York, thousands of them. Okay, like what, tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of them, all up in New York and everything like that. Nobody was having the conversation about solidarity. It was just about their issues, and they just got to focus on their issues, and it wasn't about what nobody else thought. When they talk about solidarity, that's a way to say, okay, well, how do we make this a way where other people aren't upset, where other people feel included? When they talk about Hispanic issues, okay, the word solidarity and how we make sure that everybody's happy with this was not a factor, was not a problem or concern. When they were talking about the Asians, because that was a big thing in New York too, with the Asian hate crime bill, all right? They were not talking about no solidarity in the Asian hate crime bill. Their bill was their bill, and their bill was for them because of their problem. So when other groups of people have an issue, when they're trying to get some type of reparations or tangible or anything like that, you don't hear people saying, okay, well, how do we make this inclusive? Because that's the thing. She used to like, yeah, my Black agenda was inclusive. Well, if your Black agenda was inclusive, it's not a Black agenda then.
There you go.
If it's inclusive, it's not a Black agenda. All right. And
well,
we gonna have to
she
stop
said
that.
Immigrants and everybody else.
Thank you. And then she said, well, I see when Black people do well, when immigrants do well, when disabled people do well, when everybody and their mama do well, everybody do well. No, that's false, because we have not been doing well. Y'all been hooking up everybody else. Everybody else been doing all right. Even on the hard times, they ain't down bad like that. Y'all make sure they ain't down bad like that. So you don't tell me when immigrants do well, we do well, because y'all been making sure they've been doing well and we ain't been doing well. So that's kind of that. When she said that, it reminded me of Kamala, when she was all like, well, when you raise the tides and it lifts all the boats and everybody, everything is everything. Everybody's going to benefit from that. No, we ain't trying to raise all tides or nothing. because nobody does that when it comes to foundational black. Nobody does that when it comes to non-foundational Black Americans.
And I just want to add this. They didn't ask for any New Yorkers. It don't matter what race, creed, or color. They didn't ask any New Yorkers about our solidarity with them giving all our taxpayer money to these illegals, because nobody is with that. It don't matter what race you talking about. Nobody is with it. They didn't ask for solidarity. And so why is it that you need solidarity to give us what we are owed?
Yeah,
Can I build on that too? What
Go
Brooke
ahead,
was
go ahead.
saying, and I probably, we family here, so let me build on that. There's 8.7 million people that live within New York City alone. That's more than some states out there. I think Georgia has like 10 million people that live in the damn state of Georgia. 8.7 live in these 5 boroughs alone. Millions, if not billions of dollars were diverted to these illegal immigrants that came over here. They lived in hotels. Those hotels are now run down. They put them in Floyd Bennett Field. New Yorkers, y'all know where that's at. That's now ran down. Money was taken out of city agencies. People were displaced. People were laid off. People were fired in order so these people can now eat. Now, my thing is, because I heard Jasmine Crockett say that it's not a crime to cross the border. If you come into a country and you're not welcome, you are breaking the law. When they say things like, oh, they're only going after the criminals, anyone who came, I want to repeat this, anyone who came across that border and was not invited is a criminal. And if we're going to be forgiving criminals, I got a lot of family members that you can allow out of jail. So my thing is, if you're going to divert resources, Officer Adams, from city agencies where jobs are being lost, jobs that citizens used to have are being lost because you want to bring in these people that are not supposed to be here, we're not okay with that. I'm definitely not okay with that. I don't want my tax dollars going to that. Where was the study for that? Where was the vote for that? And that's been my issue with the Eric Adams of the world, the Brandon Johnsons, and those other mayors that were up there with you in DC that time, Afro. That's been my issue with them. They're not thinking about the citizens that have these jobs, that jobs have been erased so that illegals can actually come here and live somewhat comfortably. So again, it's not that we support Trump. We don't. We support us. We support Black. We support the citizens that belong here, that built this damn nation. Whether they like it or not, it does not matter. I don't care about being the most liked in class. I don't care about that. It's about standing on business and doing what's right for my people. I'll see you, brother.
I agree. And you all said it really well. Now, there's another clip. Now, when I said that these people are sabotaging, that's one of the first things that stood out to me. That first off, this woman is not qualified at all. She doesn't even have a parent. I would almost not be as upset, even though I don't think anchor babies or half FBA should be there because of their bias towards immigrants. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that, to blame the parents. You can't help how you were born, but I'm going to be honest. And this might just be my opinion on this. If you have a parent who's from an immigrant background or whatever, that don't make you a tether necessarily. That don't make you off code. But if, for instance, your daddy or your mama is Jamaican and they immigrated, you're going to have a sympathy towards immigrants that is going to make you biased in the conversation. That's just the reality of the situation. Okay. That is just the reality. So when you get up there and everything, and we talk about delineating, you kind of drag your feet a little bit because you're like, oh man, my dad's, Jamaican and my cousins and all of that stuff. And you don't want to cut them off. You have an attachment to them that makes you biased. And I'm not saying that, let me be abundantly clear. I'm not saying that it's your fault for that. It's a human thing. But let's be honest, we got serious business we got to handle, okay? We don't got time for people half-stepping. We don't got time for people who want to slightly low-key include somebody who not supposed to be in, or make this palatable where everybody can be happy with it. We don't got time for that. Now, that's just my stance on it. Now, I do want
to be divisive.
You said
It
what?
has to be divisive. If you're gonna get something that's tangibly through that's meaningful, it has to be divisive. When the Asians got their anti-Asian hate crime bill, that did not include me or you. That did not include anyone else but them. So we need that. We need to be somewhat. We need to get some in spite of ism. We need to get that going. We need something that benefits us, that does not benefit them, and we need to not be afraid to say that.
Yeah. 100%. Let me get to this other clip real quick. All right. Oh, it played the whole thing. Okay.
More black electors have risen in the past 20 years, which is awesome. 200 black folks had to leave the city because they couldn't afford to live here.
Oh, hold on.
That's something we need.
StreamYard just went through a weird update, so it just be okay.
As more black electors have risen in the past 20 years, which is awesome. 200 black folks had to leave the city because they couldn't afford to live here. That's something we need to talk about as well. And the disinvestment is very real. And what some deceitful elected officials will do is now try to blame migrants who were here for that disinvestment, even though it happened long before the migrants are here. And we had the money to spend it and made a decision that these communities were not as in crisis as they were.
Okay.
Can I go? I usually would let you go, bro. But can I go at
Go
this
ahead.
dude,
Go ahead,
bro?
brother.
Oh, okay. So this is okay. Without diverging too much information, look, he's lying. New York City's always been expensive. New York City will always forever be expensive. Whatever. My thing is that money was diverted from city agencies. There's been a lot of jobs that have been erased, I want to say, because the money needed to be diverted towards certain things. The only city agency that was not touched in New York City was NYPD, New York's finest, and FDNY. Everyone else received cuts across the damn board. Eric Adams has been on the news numerous times saying that. And we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that went towards these migrants. You have to think about the buses that brought them in. Those buses need gas. Those buses need maintenance to keep up the buses. The hotels. That hotel needs to keep its lights on. New York is very cold, not like Chicago, but New York is very cold. They need heat. They need air conditioner. They need food. Water, all of these things cost money. So again, Jumani is being very disingenuous when he brings that up, talking about blaming it on the migrants. No, not all of it goes to the migrants. But again, Mr. Jumani, not a damn dollar should have went to people that don't belong here. That's what we're saying. Not $1 should have went to them because they don't belong here. I don't give a damn if $5 went to them. Not $1 should have went to them. They don't belong here. So again, it doesn't matter who blames what. None of the money should have went to them. Go ahead, Queen. Sorry about that.
I agree. And the whole thing of, oh yeah, there was enough to go around. Clearly, there has not been enough to go around. If Eric Adams, the fact that Eric Adams was talking or at least attempting to go to Biden and ask Biden for more federal funding, clearly there has not been enough money to go around. I don't like when people say stuff like, well, there's always enough for everybody. Well, Eric Adams announced quite a few times like, hey, we kind of really running out of money, man. We really need some help. You know what I'm saying? And the Biden administration didn't want to help. If there was enough money to go around, Eric Adams wouldn't have said nothing. Because at first, let's be real, at first, Eric Adams was fully on board. Eric Adams was more on board than anybody else, to be honest. Because when that happened, Lori Lightfoot was still in office. He was more on board than Lori Lightfoot was. He was more on board than Mike Johnston was. And Mike Johnston, that's the mayor of Denver. He was more on board than Michelle Wu, the mayor from Boston. He was the most on board. Okay. Now, it just turned out that since New York got hit the hardest and he got financially hit the hardest, he was like, hey, I need some help. You know, we kind of struggling out here, and he didn't get no help. But he was on board originally. He was fully on board. He just didn't get the financial support that I assume he expected he was going to receive. But the thing is that if there was just so much money, if we was New Yorkers just sitting on a pot of gold, and it was so much money to go around, and everybody had all this bit of money and everything, and we just being manipulated into thinking that all this money is unfairly going to them, Eric Adams wouldn't have said that we were broke. They had hiring freezes, right? Or yeah, we broke, but they had hiring freezes. Okay, people had to. They like my brother Sage was saying they had to cut everything.
You said had or having? Still having, had or having, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh, they still are going through a hiring freeze.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
And then you got young, ambitious foundationals that can really sit in these jobs and these positions, but we can't hire them because the money needs to be recouped from Pedro.
And Brooke, I just wanted to point out, so I can point out the exact moment when Eric Adams flipped. So the president came to New York, right? And because the United Nations is here, and he did not see Eric Adams. Mm-hmm. Then Eric Adams had to go to DC for something, and President Biden at the time did not invite Eric Adams in and pat him on his little peanut head, and tell him good boy, and sit him down by the fire and say good boy. He wanted that pat on the head from the president, and after he didn't get that, he was done at that point. That's when he started telling the truth. Oh, I don't have no money. Oh, I don't have no this. I watched him very carefully because he was not he ignored us during the nail shop incident. So, I've been watching him ever since. And then, his history, he doesn't have good history. He stood by the Asians during the Peter Liang situation. He doesn't have good history here in New York. So I'll be watching him with both my eyes, okay? 4 of them, because I wear glasses. So I'll be watching all 4 of my eyes, okay? And I also wanted to say that with the illegals and the money, this with Jumaane Williams, this is, and when you was talking about earlier, Afro, that the reason why we can't have people with dual lineages as spokespersons for us. We welcome you. We love you. You are definitely FBA. If you have one parent that's FBA and you have another parent that's from somewhere else, we definitely love you and we welcome you in. However, you cannot speak for us. And this is why, because your heartstrings sometimes don't allow you to say the truth. And there's one thing that I look at when I was looking at the voting results here in New York, especially New York City, Brooklyn, overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Now, a lot of Democrats did not show up and voted at all. You can see that in the numbers, but a lot of them voted for Trump. So that leads me to believe that a lot of New Yorkers are feeling the same way that we feel about this situation, but less of them are willing to talk about it because of either their current situations or people that they know in their situations. And this is why you make bad spokespeople for us to fight these white supremacists that we have been fighting on this land for as long as we have been fighting without being completely wiped out. You have to have no fear. Whether that be, you can't be afraid that they're going to send you home. And that's no tea, no shade, but that's the reason why a lot of them don't want to say anything. They don't want to say anything because they don't want to go home. And look, no, I'm not, like I said, I don't, whether good or bad, I get it. But you can't speak for us. They can't send me home. And I'm going to say whatever needs to be said. And you're not. And this is why you as much as we welcome you and we love you as people with dual lineages, You cannot be a spokesperson for us.
I agree. I agree.
Oh, one more thing. Sorry, one last thing about this, about what he said. The fact that he's sitting here talking about what's happening right now is part of the problem. This is reparations, which is supposed to be for slavery. It don't have anything to do with it. And that's why they keep trying to bring the conversation into the present, because especially here in New York, now this is different from, this is not the same as other places, but our Black immigrant population have been here for a very long time. And if you start talking about anything in the present, it's gonna muddy the waters. And that's why they keep trying to bring the conversations to the present. Reparations is supposed to be from the beginning of slavery to 1865, to the end of slavery. And that's what reparations is supposed to focus on. But they got this broad spectrum, again, leaving it unconstitutional. So they can have as many conversations about this as they want. I will say the negative part about it is they are muddying the waters of what reparations is really supposed to be, as far as with other demographics. But we don't really care what those other demographics say or do anyway, because we've been fighting them. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you, when I got to that conversation, there was hardly any melanated people in that room. I could count them on probably like both of my hands. And me and the Freedmen Project probably filled up one of my hands. Me, Divine, and Sister Annette, and you know what I mean? Like and Brother Mike, Mike 795, he was there as well. So Brother Mike was there. So like we made up almost one hand. So the room was full of the dominant society. So they're having this conversation that they're not qualified to have in front of all of these people about a bill that's unconstitutional. Again, more rigmarole, more Mulberry Bush, more heel spinning, more nonsense. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
Yep. Now, of course, you all understand that we can never have this type of conversation. We can never have these conversations unless they bring up Black and brown. And for a fact, anytime they bring up Black and brown, exactly what. Now, this isn't X. They brought this up by themselves. Okay, this is the same person. Let me show you guys. And I want you guys to understand this conversation was a little over an hour long. So I just really got the main parts that I think you guys should listen to.
Through your neighborhood. If you walk through this neighborhood or you walk through Park Slope and you look at the alternate side parking signs, the requirement to move your car is like 1 day a week. On Monday, you can't park here for 30 minutes because we're assuming that your streets are very clean. But if you go into Crown Heights in my district, if you go into Southeast Queens in Councilmember Natasha Williams' district, if you go into predominantly Black and brown communities across New York City, then you see 4 times a week we have to clean your neighborhoods because we're assuming, and they do have a metric that they use, which I think is faulty. So I'm saying assuming, but they don't assume. They do actually use a metric, so let me not misspeak. But I think the faulty metric that they use presumes that communities of color and Black communities are much dirtier than whiter communities. So the next time you're walking in any particular neighborhood, take a look at the alternate side park. Through your neighborhood. If you walk through this neighborhood or you walk through Park Slope and you look at the alternate side parking signs, the requirement to move your car is like 1 day a week. On Monday, you can't park here for 30 minutes. Because we're assuming that your streets are very clean. But if you go into Crown Heights in my district, if you go in...
that it just repeats. It repeats itself. Okay? So
your chat room is hilarious.
Yeah. I love my chat. We got the best. But yeah, so as I know, I'm not from New York, as you guys know. So I guess there is like a trash issue in certain neighborhoods or something like that. So that's what she was referring to. And she said, Black and brown. Now, I don't know about the details of the issue. Okay. but I do know when you start using when you introduce inclusive language such as black and brown, and then after she said black and brown, then she said people of color and black people. Okay, so when you use these inclusive terms, you're essentially talking about, let's talk about everybody who's not doing great. Okay, and there's a lot of people who are not doing great. All right, and let's be honest, I don't know. Now, I'm glad that you two are from New York, so you guys can speak to this. But I thought this conversation was supposed to be about reparations. I don't even know how we got into like when the trash gets picked up and when the streets get. I don't know. Like, is that like? Do y'all feel like that's very germane to the reparations conversation?
Hell nah.
Okay.
Okay. So all right. So okay. Thank you. So no, absolutely not. And this is part of the problem. You talking about everything but reparations. Like I said, the bill is flawed. The bill that talks about this, the bill is supposed to look at the problems of slavery and its effects going from the 1800s to present day. Hence another problem with the bill. Right? So this is why they're talking about things that have to do with present day. But that is a problem, because once you go to present day, you can start adding in more people. Because okay, let's talk about this Brown. One of my favorite Twitter accounts is Forgotten Latino History. Do you guys follow him? Do you guys follow him? Forgotten Latino History on.
Yeah, I know the account.
Child, I have learned so much from that Twitter page. Okay. First of all, Latinos were considered white during segregation. There was no such thing as Juan Crow. During segregation, they were considered white. They sat in the white area on the bus. We had to sit in the nigger area. They was able to swim in the white pools, which we could not swim in. Okay. They were allowed to go to white schools. They were essentially white people. So when they sit here and talk about trying to bring them into our reparations claims, it's so insidious, it's disgusting. So the fact that they're trying to do this present day, look how they get to add all these other people into it. So again, the bill is illegal and unconstitutional. Please send emails letting them know how illegal. Please listen to everything that we talked about tonight and these conversations that they're having, and send them emails about what you're seeing and how you feel about it and what reparations is supposed to be about. And it is not supposed to be about all these extra things.
Yeah. Sage, brother.
So they bring
is trash is the garbage day reparations. Is that a part of reparations?
no. I don't even know. I guess she was trying to make the analogy of different areas are treated differently throughout New York City, but that lets you guys know that's not from New York City. This ain't no damn melting pot. We live in certain sections. We live in certain carted off sections in New York City. I don't know where this whole trash thing came from. Let me explain something to you. After we receive reparations, white people are still going to be white supremacists. They're still going to be racist. It's not going to, reparations is not going to stop their racism. Racism does not stop at them calling you the N-word. It doesn't stop at that. When you look at systemic racism, I think she was trying to use an analogy of trash sweeping, stating that other areas are dirtier. What Crystal didn't bring up was there was times in New York City where sanitation didn't even come through black areas to sweep out. If you really want to talk about New York City history, they really started doing that, I want to say, in the late 70s. Before that, they really didn't even come through our area. We had to sweep our areas out ourselves. So when you're going to bring up that analogy, it won't equate to reparations, because that's not something that reparations would necessarily solve. I don't expect reparations to end racism. When you have people on these Twitter spaces, especially with our brother Tariq, and they say, hey, can't we say the N-word? Why don't you allow us to say the N-word? How about this? You give us our money, you can say the N-word however many times you like. But they know that giving us our money will give us the power that we actually need. That's why they fight so hard to prevent that. But as far as Crystal, like I said, her agenda 100% is more pushing towards gay things because that's what she's into. She's not into anything black. She's not really gonna champion something that's gonna benefit the foundationals. And what you said earlier, Afro, absolutely made sense, because we're biased too, me, you, and Brooke. We're biased too because, we're foundational. So we're going to have a soft spot for our people. Everyone has a soft spot for themselves. So if a person is half foundational and half Asian, as an example, they're going to have a soft spot for their Asian side too. And that's understandable. But again, you can't speak for us because of that. You have to be 100% on board. And if you're not 100% on board, you got to get off.
Yep. This is we talking about serious business here. All right. This is serious business. I want to also add on to the fact that because I hear this conversation as far as reparations, because there's a lot of like little hearings and commissions. We all know about the one that happened in California last year. Now we know about the one going on in New York, and there's other ones that are popping up. One thing I will say is that there are city issues because Black people were very segregated from everybody else, and there are issues that the city needs to take care of. These are not reparations issues. These are a completely different thing from the reparations conversation. If now y'all are in New York, so you guys understand about the sanitation issue, that's a city issue. That sanitation should be making sure that the whole city is clean. That's not a reparations issue. When people talk about, well, I think it was Jasmine Crockett, oh yeah, air filters and environmental justice. If you want to talk about clean pipes, which is necessary, if you want to talk about getting the water filter good, that's necessary. That's a city problem. All right. That's not a reparations thing, and that should not be involved in the conversation. That needs to be taken away. That if y'all want to talk about grocery stores, there should be grocery stores in all of these communities. That's a city issue. That's not no reparations issue. Now, if we want to build a grocery store with our reparations, then then that's our thing. But as far as the city, y'all just focus on getting the resources. Okay, because then it's going to be okay. Now we parking tickets and stuff like that's not we're talking about everything around reparations. Okay, we're dancing around the subject. All right, and acting as if we're talking about it.
Because she's trying to use issues that are inflammatory that piss New Yorkers off. Because I drive. So what she's talking about, let me explain exactly what she's talking about, what she's trying to make people get upset about. So in white neighborhoods, right? In white neighborhoods, we have alternate side of the street parking, right? You have to move your car Monday, Wednesday or Monday, Thursday on one side. And then on the other side, you got to move the car Tuesday and Friday. So you only get Wednesdays off. You constantly got to go back and forth, and they handing out tickets. So it's while they're giving illegals all of this money, they are taxing New Yorkers like crazy, right? So you got to move your car, and it's like 2 hours in the middle of the day, or early in the morning. Sometimes different hours of the day. So every New Yorker is, pretty much upset. And in white neighborhoods, it's less. There's maybe 1 day a week that they have to move their car. Right. And so for us in our neighborhoods, it's 4 days a week. So this is something that, pisses a lot of us off because, like I said, it's a tax on us because if you don't move your car, they give you a ticket, which you must pay. So it's, it's ridiculous. So she's trying to use something that pisses all of us off. Like I said, you can see how inflamed I am about the topic, but this has nothing to do with reparations. And again, even if it did, this bill is illegal and unconstitutional. So please send those emails.
Yep. So I want to build on that too, Brooke. Again, we got to remember too, because Jumani, the Grenadian guy, said this earlier. The reason why they're giving out so many tickets, first of all, Brooke said is absolutely true. They we have to move our cars 2 times a week. Absolutely. If not, you're going to get a ticket. Not just that, there's also more speed cameras in our area than there are in Jewish areas.
Tell
There are no speed cameras in Borough Park. If you notice that, Brooke, I don't know.
tell
There's a
them
lot of
about
New
that.
Yorkers in here. There's not a lot of bike lanes over there in Jewish areas. There's not a
Long
lot of speed
Island as
cameras
well.
over there. I'm gonna get to Long Island because matter of fact,
Mm.
let me get there right now. Long
Let's
Island's
go.
Long Island speed limit is a lot higher than New York speed limit.
Come
And there's a
on.
reason why they have less laws than the city has. Long Island consists of a lot of white people, Nassau and Suffolk County, and in the 5 boroughs, you have a lot of black people. So you can see why the laws are lighter out there than they are here. With speed cameras, if you go over 25 miles per hour, you get a ticket in New York City. That ticket can range anywhere from $65 to $115 per ticket. Now, the reason why they're aggressively giving out tickets on Mondays and throughout the week is because, again, family, New York City has to recoup that money that was
That's
spent
right.
out for these people that did not belong here. That money
Preach.
is not coming from Washington, D.C. It's not. New York has to figure out a way to get that money from its own citizens. Perfect example, congestion pricing. That money is not coming from Washington. So how can we get that money to fix the MTA? Let's tax our own citizens. This is what New York does. We have tolls on bridges. Why do we have that? Because we're taxing our own citizens to pay for things.
That's
So
right.
again, New York has never really been that aggressive. And again, it doesn't stop there. There's a lot more that I know. It doesn't stop there. We're giving out violations to property owners. Why are we doing that? We have to recoup. We have to let them know that their property has damage on the sidewalk or the roadway, whatever the case is. Hey, you have 75 days to fix that. If you don't fix that in 75 days, we're going to come in on the 76th day. We're going to fix it, and then we're going to bill you. Again, that's another way to get money out of the homeowners and the property owners of this city. So if you own a small business, you are going to be visited by the health department a lot more. You're going to be visited by a lot of city agencies that can give you violations or fines because the city needs to get that money back in order to recoup that money, the billions that was spent out on these illegals.
Yep. And at the end of the day, none of it is reparations.
Oh, none of it is reparations. Absolutely.
And none of it ain't got nothing to do. My mom used to say, none of that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. It don't have anything to do with our reparations. So, her bringing it up is just like her just trying to raise an issue that people might get inflamed and upset about and blind and have blinders on. But that's why I say, we got to be laser focused and be realistic about what is happening and be logical about what we are doing. And it's those emails.
Yes.
Email, every single. And one more thing. Also, I know a lot of us sat out the race, the presidential race this year, and that is great because we see what we was able to accomplish. Kamala is no longer with us, so now what we could do to go further is to unregister from the Democratic Party. We need their numbers to tank because that's how the emails and the unregistering kind of go hand in hand, right? Because the Democratic Party, they still have us as registrants. Not me, because I unregistered, but they still have us as registered. So on the books, they still have, however many millions of Democrats on the books. But if we start unregistering and register as a no party independent, that link is also in that petition. So that link is there to do that as well. If we just start unregistering and let the Democratic numbers tank, so they can have a few million and 44 million. If they lost 44 million Democratic voters, that would really send a message. And then they're receiving emails on why they lost those voters. that would be a hell of a statement to these legislators. And that my mission is for them to be so squeezed that they call us.
Yeah.
Like we no longer have to call them for a meeting. They're calling us because they have so many emails. This is my vision. They have so many emails from the FBA family that they're like, who is the Freedmen Project? And they call us for what the bill should be because they have lost so many Democratic voters and they've received so many emails. So those are the two things I forgot to add that on earlier. But yeah, again, none of what she said, none of any of the and all of it is horrible. You see Sage and I in unison about how horrible these things are happening to us, how they're taxing us and squeezing our pockets dry, how they're doing this to us, but it's still not reparations. Now that is a worthy cause to fight for, but not in our reparations space.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's a
before we
time
get
in
on to the next clip, I want to remind everybody, it's the email list is in the petition, and the petition is pinned to the top of the chat room, and it's also in the description as well too. So you can go to the description or you can go to the top of the chat room. That's that link. You can click it and then you can fill out your email and unregister and all of that stuff.
Yes.
Sage, were you about to say something?
Oh yeah, I have to apologize to Brooke because I'm gonna disappoint you. I can't unregister as a Democrat because I ain't never been one. Yeah, I ain't never been one. So
I know you so well. I knew you wasn't going.
Yeah. But I did one thing I do want to point out to the family, especially in New York too. Yes, I actually voted this election. I voted couch, but there are different addendums on the ballot that you guys should definitely pay attention to locally.
Yeah.
And again, make sure you're careful about who you're voting for because you might get a Crystal Hudson or Jumaane Williams in office. So, you don't have to vote, for that president at the top, but these are the people under that president. What you're seeing right now on that stage that Afro is showing you, those are the people that you're voting for. If you remember how they used to say down ballot, you remember how that was a thing a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't do that down, but no, none of that. Know who you're voting for and what you're voting for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Like our brother Sage was talking about, you got to pay attention. Don't just think that, okay, because we give a lot of attention, and I don't think we should take any attention off of the presidency, but we also need to add more attention onto local politics, because I don't necessarily like when people be all like, well, the president, that don't matter, and all that doesn't affect us. Yes, the president very much so does affect a lot of stuff in this country. It does. However, we also do need to give more attention to. We don't have to take anything away, but we also need to give more attention, even primarily speaking, to the local elections and stuff like that, because this will more directly affect our day-to-day life, like what they were talking about as far as the ticketing and as far as the traffic cameras and stuff like that. Trump, Biden, whoever, they ain't got nothing to do with New York traffic cameras. Okay, so those are local politics and stuff like that. That's what we're talking about. So we do have to pay very close attention to that.
Yes, absolutely.
I want to show you guys this next clip, and he brings up again, because this dude, now remember, he's Ghanaian, so he's out
Grenadian.
here defending migrants,
having the same problems, which
you
means
say he's what?
Grenadian. He's from
Grenadian.
Grenada.
Okay, my bad.
Crystal was reminding me what I always say, which is we sometimes confuse. We have more black representation on every level than we've ever had, and we still having the same problems, which means I think sometimes we confuse black persons doing better with black people doing better, and those are two different things. And we have to make sure we have folks that are actually going to change the systems, not try to mimic it and say it was there before and try to copy it. That's not the reason for us being there. With the migrant, I know that it is easy to get angry about. And
you said what?
Don't he fit that bill that he's just saying?
Exactly. And imagine me being there in person. I'm steaming in my seat. Like, you talking about yourself.
That's you. Oh, okay, bro.
There's
And I always talk about myself because sometimes I get angry and I have to back up and make sure I'm angry at the right people. And so you have folks saying, look at all these billions of dollars that I had to take from you and spend on the migrants. And that really touches particularly black and brown folks who've been there for a long time and we haven't gotten.
There's that black and brown again. Now, I'm gonna let it go, but weren't the people who are getting the money the brown people? Like, okay, unless they're another color now. But all right.
And what we've gotten, and sometimes it looks like this is for another conversation. Other groups come and use the blueprint and the trauma, and then catapult past. This is another conversation. But then that is not true. And so when people tell you that, you should ask them, well, why didn't you spend it on us? Because the money has always been here. And so I know for a fact that they would not have spent it on you because they didn't spend it on you. And they didn't view what you were going through as a crisis. That is a decision that leaders made, not to spend the money we always had, because we always had the money to house people, clothe people, and feed people, and give them mental health services. Always, always, always. They chose not to. And now they want you not to aim at them and aim at a group of people who had nothing to do with it. And that just makes it harder to do what it is we actually have to do. And you can see the budgets are coming out now for next year. People are talking about surpluses. For all the things they talked about, how much there's now surpluses. So don't let them have people who have little fight people who have none when they actually have enough for everybody. Please, I beg you, it's difficult. Just aim your anger properly.
Okay. So we're not aiming our anger at the right people. We're mad at the wrong people, according to him.
And this is
Brooke,
why
I know
we
you
gonna send our
have a lot
emails.
to say, I'm sure.
You absolutely right. This is why we send in emails, because we are going to send our anger to the right people, right to his email box. That's what we're gonna do, and then right to his Democratic Party numbers. That's what we're gonna do. I'm tired of them sitting up there wagging their fingers and telling us what we did and we couldn't do and what we should do and what we can't. I'm sick of it. They sit there and talk at us. They don't let anyone ask any questions or have any rebuts or anything like that. It's just a conversation of them parroting themselves. And it's so funny for him to sit there and talk about the very same thing that he's doing. You have been a part of this for how long? I remember when Jumaane had locks. Do you remember that, Sage?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he cut that.
He cut that because they told him that I'm, look, he knew what he had to do to be a part of the Democratic Party. Correct. Exactly, to get ahead. So he could be next in line to be mayor when they ready to kick the can out, to kick the stool out from under Eric Adams. So he already, and that's something else. That's why, as much as I hate Eric Adams, I would like an election to happen for him to leave, because if he leaves, Jumaane is just gonna come right on in and do the same thing. Like, it's already been, and they did not make this public, but it's already been uncovered that he's taking money from the same people that Eric Adams is taking money from, and Eric Adams is the one who hooked him up with the money. He sits there and act like that he's at war with Eric Adams because of the NYPD, but that's not true. I talked about that on my channel, that he's taking money from the same exact people. But this is how they buried the article. They buried the article because they didn't name Jumaane in the header. They called it a Black Lives Matter activist. They called him a Black Lives Matter activist. So the article got buried and nobody really saw it. But I did. So I'm not really one, as much as I hate Eric Adams and I loathe him entirely. I don't want to see him out before his term, right? But after his term is over, I do want him locked up. You know what I mean? Like it would be fine with me. It would be just fine with me if they locked him up afterwards. But that's after we vote in a new mayor, and I don't even know who that would be, because all of the candidates is not looking good. Which is how we ended up with Eric Adams in the first place, because all of the candidates were not looking good. It was just like bad, 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 worse, bad. And that's how it's looking again. So I don't know what's going to happen after that, but Jumaane Williams is a do boy for the Democrats. He does whatever he needs to do, including his hair.
Well, Jumani's always been on that type of time. My thing is, I actually had an in-person, in-face argument with this dude during the George Floyd riots because I actually held a rally, I want to say, protest right in front of the Barclays Center, and he wanted to speak, and I would not allow him to speak. Because I just don't trust dude. I think that dude, like you said, is a dude boy for the Democrats, and we have to think more than just Democrat or Republican at this point. We have to think black. And I don't think he goes far enough. Now, again, he says about directing energy. Humani, they don't belong here. So I don't give a damn if $5 were going to them. No money at all should be going to them. They did not belong here. So again, I don't understand where he's coming from, where the energy shouldn't be directed towards people like that. They shouldn't have been here. I understand that they came through the border in Texas. I understand that Gavin Newsom was sending them up here. I get that. But Eric Adams, you allowed them in, you allowed the buses to come in. Don't nothing move in New York City without New York knowing about it. New York City has cameras every 3 to 5 blocks. No car is going to get through. Nothing moves in New York City without New York City knowing about it. There's cameras on bridges everywhere. This is New York City. So if for somebody to say that, energy should not be directed towards them, you said that money was already allocated. Why wasn't that money being spent? We have homeless veterans out here that are black that can use that money. They could have been put up in these hotels years ago. Why wasn't that on the agenda, Jumani? And that's my issue with him. He intends on running for mayor too. Maybe not this go around, but he intends on running for mayor in the near future. And he will be met with resistance because of that. All of these Democrats that claim to be pro-black, they're going to meet a lot of resistance in the future because, again, we're not on the whole, vote blue no matter who. If you're not with a black agenda, you're just not getting our vote. And that's what I was trying to explain to that reparations panel in Queens that time. You need to do something to earn our vote. We are not the old black generation. We're not the go along to get along. We're not the we shall overcome. Much respect to a lot of the riders, but we need more.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave right
absolutely. I absolutely agree. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give another reminder. It's not a specific email. The link is in the email list. It's a list of different emails, and that's in the petition. So you go to the link that I got at the top of the chat room or in the description. It's the same link, and that will take you to a petition. You scroll down. Let me show it actually. Let me show it real quick.
Yep.
Okay. So, because I know we got a lot of newer people who just came in the room and they're hearing about the email. So this is the petition, right? Okay. So when you go to it, we probably got more. Let me refresh it. Actually, you probably got more signatures and all that stuff too. Wow. See, we got a lot more signatures. Okay. And the signatures aren't the important part. I mean, you can do it, but that's not the important part. The email is the important part, right?
The email is the important part.
Yeah. It's at the thing. You scroll down. If you're on your phone, your laptop, you go to the bottom, and then where it says decision makers, these are the decision makers. Okay. So you click their emails. They give you the name. She gave you the name. And you click their emails. And then she also gave you above, you go up, there's a template of what you should put in your email. And then
that's what it already generates. That it automatically generates that email for you.
Okay. So yeah, it's really, really simple then. Also, hold on.
Yeah.
Where else?
This is why I did it this way.
That was
you don't have to. So the generator scroll up a little bit.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, scroll up.
Let me know when to stop.
Right there. Go back down. So right here. So this is a template of what it's going to open in your email account. So this is good because, you know, it takes them right back. So if you don't have the words to say, but you just want to support us, you just click send on this. You don't have to put anything else. If you have some choice words you would like to send to them, please, you add them to this email. But this email takes them to the link to the page, and the page will spell out that we demand that they repeal that law and put forth a bill that is constitutionally sound.
Okay. And see, that's the problem, because they're trying to sabotage it down the road, and we're not trying to have that happen. Trying to sabotage it down the road. Also, I want to talk
and
about,
all while they're doing that, they're lining their pockets.
Yeah, because they are getting paid for this. Okay, they're not.
Well, the commission is not getting paid, but there are others that are getting paid. Like the researchers are getting paid. The audio visual people are getting paid. They just hired an executive assistant. She's getting paid. And I'm not against, you know, these people should be on the commission, but they have a budget allowed for this. So, you know, this is wasted money that could have been for a bill that actually made sense. So this is more wasted. So it's not just time that they're wasting. They're also wasting taxpayer money with this commission. So the commissioners themselves are not getting paid. But what I will say, as Brother Divine was talking about this the other day, the president of the Freedmen Project, he was talking about how in the original bill, they were trying to put the nonprofits in the bill. In Cobra and others. I can't remember exactly which the other ones were. I probably the National Action Network, because they're very, you know, different representatives from them have been showing up as well. So they were trying to put, I know for sure it was in Cobra. They were trying to put in Cobra in the bill. But the Freedmen Project was there to, and with Brother Divine was there to stop that. So the only reason we don't have that in the bill is because of the Freedmen Project, the U.S. Freedmen Project that is already was already working on it. So they already stopped some of the thievery from happening. So we're just here to make sure that the rest does not happen. And like I said, there's already taxpayer money that's being thrown around. And it's a waste. It's more money we don't have as a city, by the way, if that wasn't clear from earlier.
Yeah. Also, I want to say this before we move on to the next clip, and I saved this one for last because I think this one was really, really telling to me. As far as the argument that we are misdirecting our anger to immigrants, we're not misdirecting our anger to immigrants. We understand, we can comprehend, we're all adults, we comprehend why they're coming over here. However, what we're saying is that they are breaking the law. Okay, so here's the thing, it's not about us being mad, it's just the fact that we're not sympathetic to them. They're coming over here, they're not asylum seekers, they're coming over here and they're seeking opportunities from foundational Black Americans, or they're seeking resources that needs to go to foundational Black Americans. We are upset that the government is subsidizing this while they're playing these games. Okay, hey, I see my brother Adonis in here, shout out to Adonis. Okay, while the government is playing these games, all right, get with this carrot on the stick thing, and we're running around in circles as they're subsidizing them. So our anger is very clear, and it's directed to who it's supposed to be. What he was trying to do is trying to say we shouldn't be at all upset with their presence. Yes, the hell we should be upset with their presence. They shouldn't be here. So we have a right to be upset with their presence. All right, whether they came here and it's not their fault or whatever the case is, they're not supposed to be here. They're here. So we have a right as citizens, as foundational Black Americans, to be upset with them being here. We are not wrong. We're not being manipulated into being upset. You know, ain't none of that going on. All right. Now,
my thing.
Go ahead.
No, my thing again. Listen. I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's $2. No money should be allocated to them. They're not supposed to be here. And you said seeking asylum from what? Last I checked, there's no war going on this side of the world. So where are they seeking asylum from? Because you got a president that you don't agree with or whatever the case is? Family, let me let y'all know something. On this side of the earth, nothing goes down without America knowing or
That's right.
allowing it to go down. I want to repeat that. On this side of the earth, I didn't just say this country, on this side of the earth, nothing goes down. America is the big boy over here. We run everywhere from Chile to the top of Canada. We run all of it. Don't nothing move without us saying so. So again, for these people to be seeking asylum from what? What are you seeking asylum for? You coming up here for a better life? Everyone wants a better life. My grandmother wanted a better life. Afro's grandmother, Brooke's grandmother, Brooke wants a better life. Afro wants a better life. I want a better life. We all want a damn better life, but we're not running to make that happen. And when you run, again, now money has to be diverted from actual citizens that deserve things and now given to you. And I don't care if it's $2, that's $2 less that goes to an actual citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that.
I like to remind people that our brother, Jordan Neely, was an aged out foster child. His mother was murdered, and he was a foster child. When he turned 18, the city put him out. There's nothing for him. There was no services for him to help him transition into adulthood without his mother. This is why our brother was initially dancing to Michael Jackson on the subway when even that wasn't bringing in enough money to eat. It is why our brother was hungry and emaciated on the train when that white supremacist killed him with other people who were not born here, helping him, not realizing our history here, helping him, aiding in his murder. So when services are being directed to other communities and other groups of people, it leaves our people and our children and our most vulnerable. And they know this. And this is why I felt the need to tell them in their face that we see what you're doing. We know that you guys, because there was another meeting, not in the clip that you showed, but there was another meeting where I let them know we are accustomed to people using our names and getting benefits, and we are being left with nothing. And so we see you doing this again, and we're not going to let you do it to us again. So, again, I'm going to take it right back to the emails. Send those emails and unregister from the Democratic Party, because, like I said, if our brother had not even reparations, even the services that he's supposed to get as a New Yorker with no parents, who was literally a ward of the state. He was New York City's child. And not only did we allow him to slip through the cracks and be hungry and begging and emaciated in the train station, but we then allowed a white supremacist to murder him without any kind of consequences. And then the co-conspirators of the murder to also walk free.
Now, let me ask you this question, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. The incident occurred because Jordan Neely was talking to himself, expressing that he was hungry. Am I right or wrong about that?
Yes.
That he hadn't eaten. He was hungry and
Yes.
thirsty, and he was fed up about being hungry and thirsty.
Right.
Okay? And nobody was helping him out. So, okay, so I'm right about that part. Let me ask you another question. Did or did not the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, give debit cards to illegal immigrants so they can buy food that they like to buy so they wouldn't be hungry? Did that happen? Yes.
Yes, he did.
Okay. So this
Yes,
is what
he
we're
did.
talking about as far as them taking resources that should be for us. This is Jordan Neely is the exact case. Okay, this is the exact case. It fits the definition perfectly. All right. This is an actual FBA who's actually really hungry. Okay, he deserves, if anybody is warranted some government assistance, it would have been him, considering, you know, what has happened in his life and everything like that. It would be him, but he doesn't get anything. He has to go around in the subway expressing the fact he's starving damn near, and you're allowing immigrants who can come into the city, in the country illegally, and you're subsidizing them, not just giving them food, you're giving them debit cards so they can get whatever
5-star accommodations, laundry service, free education, food, coats, clothes, brand new clothes. Did you see some of the jackets they were walking around with? How much these coats cost? Understand, it goes way deeper. And they were setting the scene for this a long time ago, because back when they before COVID, when they were removing our, you know, I don't know how you say it on YouTube anymore, the shop rights, when they were moving our rights to say no to that, before that came, when they were taking away our rights, at the same time they were trying to give illegals driver's license. So if you have a driver's license, then you could vote, right? So that was going to be the first step. So once you get them an illegal and a driver's license, then you'll that the next step is to try to get them to vote. So they were setting this up before this even happened, you know. So it's pretty, like I said, the fact that Jordan Neely was one of our own, and he was treated the way he was treated, and these people who have never paid a dime into the New York City tax system, because even if you want to say Jordan Neely didn't pay any taxes, his mother did. His mother didn't deserve better for her child after she was murdered. Her tax money, where was her Social Security? Why? You see what I'm saying? Why was so many things left undone with this child? Because that's how I see him. I still see him as even though he was he was a child of New York City, but he didn't get anything. But these people get, like I said, coats, laundry, 5-star accommodations. And don't forget the e-bikes and scooters that we got running around here. We look like we in the Dominican Republic around here with all these e-bikes and scooters. And let's not forget how the batteries have been blowing up all over the city. New York City has been burning like a child. Go say something.
No comment.
New York City been on fire, right?
No comment.
New York City
A lot
been
of those,
on fire.
Yeah.
New York City been on fire because of these e-bike batteries. You're not supposed to bring them in the house. They're bringing them in the house all over the place. I've seen them, and these fires are deadly because the batteries you can't throw water on it. They reignite. And even if you get the fire out on the battery, it'll reignite.
Yeah.
So they giving them free e-bikes and whatnot. So they got them driving around here with little bombs all over the city. It's crazy. And this boy was left to be starving on the train. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. It's hard for me to talk about it sometimes without getting choked up, because like I really have a thing about kids and doing kids wrong. You know what I mean? I have a special hatred for that. And yeah, so it bothers me. So I'm sorry if I went off on a tangent.
No, what you're saying is 100% correct. It is, and it needs to be expressed. It needs to be told, just so we can understand the severity of this issue. Let me
I want
show
to
you
build on
guys.
something too that Brooke said too about the lithium ion. That's been a problem now for like the last couple of years with the fires in New York City. There's a fire every other day in New York City. Not only are we losing, people are being displaced and losing houses because fire spreads. New York is built where if you live in a building, there can be anywhere from like 40 to 400 people that live in your building. And if one person does something stupid, all 400 can be displaced.
That's right.
So we have like, if you live in a project building, and again, you're stacked on top of each other. We're talking about 20, sometimes 30 stories up, even more. And it takes one person to do something stupid and the rest of the projects is displaced. So also dealing with the bikes. If you guys remember, I told you guys earlier about speed cameras being in our areas. Now, those bikes do not have license plates that's attached or that's registered with New York City. So
Yep.
those speed cameras don't really apply to them. So
That
that's
part.
strictly for you. So again, I want y'all to know what the severity of New York City is. There's a lot of intricate, refined kind of things, but once you truly understand the system, you'll get it. And that's what we deal with here in New York.
Yeah, it's serious. That's serious.
He's absolutely right, because they're not, the tax that we're getting on our cars, the tickets, the speed cameras, the parking, alternate side of the street parking, having to move your thing or from side to side.
Deal with any of
it
that.
doesn't apply to them. Just like the
Nope.
laws don't apply to them. They can sit here, rape, kill, steal, everything, fentanyl, sell drugs, do whatever they do, and the police can't do nothing about it. They don't even take out guns. They don't even take out tasers. They don't even take out billy clubs. They don't take out nothing. They didn't even take out a whistle in Times Square. They sat there and got their behinds whipped. When the brother said,
you talking about that one? Oh, you talking about that video
Times Square.
with
Let me ask you a
right in
question.
front of McDonald's, yeah.
When you ever seen NYPD so docile?
When they're dealing with white people. That's
okay.
it. That's it.
Okay.
It seems like a memo was given out to not
It's
offend.
not seems like it definitely was. You don't have to say seems like, it was. They got the memo that they not supposed to touch they are not supposed to touch them. That has been that's already been told as truth. Even at the shelters and everything, the police that be there, that come there, they have said they cannot arrest them.
You know what?
They're
That's
not
another
allowed.
thing too. What you just said is another thing too. And I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but again, we're talking about money and resources being redirected. Brooke just brought up all of these shelters, and we have hundreds of different, I think it's like 136 shelters throughout the whole city, with thousands of people, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of these illegals in it. There has to be a police presence at all of these shelters, which means police are doing overtime now to sit at those shelters, which means myself, Brooke, other New Yorkers, we have to pay more money in taxes so that the police can be there to watch them. So again, Jumani, this is money that's being redirected where it could have been given to a Jordan Neely. It could have been given to a person like Eric Garner. It could have been given to people like that needed good employment or even just help to eat. Again, I don't want my money to be redirected. I don't give a damn if it's $1, because if a police presence is there, I have to pay for that. And I don't want to have to pay for police to be sitting inside and outside of these damn shelters watching these people who came here for a better life, but somehow they got a gun and somehow they had a shootout on Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn. And somehow, there are gangs now and there's sex trafficking now that's going crazy on Roosevelt Avenue.
The fentanyl.
And the fentanyl that I thought you were coming up here for a better life. So why is all of this going on the way it's going on? Which leads us back to that petition and the emails that need to be sent out. And again, family, you do not have to be from New York in order to do that. Shout out to, my brother Devon, much love, much respect to that brother, and you, Brooke, for putting that together and trying to, again, family across the nation. We desperately need y'all voices on this one and y'all help. So
because they're taking it because it's not that many FBA New Yorkers. It's not as many as it used to, because a lot of us have family that have left, so it's not as many of us as it used to be. So they're banking on that, and that's why we really need y'all help, family, with these emails, because we need to let them know that, okay, we all together, because not only are we going to tear this down, we will tear down your whole Democratic Party. Everybody, all 44 million of us will remove ourselves from it. We'll take down your whole party for New York. We'll take down your whole party for Boston. We'll take down your whole party for Detroit. We'll take down your whole party for California. We'll take down your whole party. Okay, unless you get this reparations right. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish with these emails.
Yep, absolutely. Like I keep reminding everybody, it's in the petition. Click the link, go down, scroll down, and then you have the emails. Don't just send one; send them to everybody. Send all everybody who's there deserves an email. All right.
And if you're feeling really upset, the link for HR for all the people for HR 40. If you want to go federal, if you after you finish the local and you want to go federal, I put together another list for everybody's emails that are on HR 40, and it's a lot of co-sponsors and sponsors on that bill. So we could let HR 40 know that is a piece of garbage as well. So if you want to go a step further, but what we really, really need right now is the New York one, the email sent to the New York legislators. Thank you.
Yes, that's how we get on code. Now I want to ask you, or I want to show you guys this. Now they had a question. He had a question, and they were asked about the influence of social media. And what's his name? Jumanji? That's not his name. Jumani said something very interesting about social media. So,
and then he ran out the door.
Yeah, after this, he bounced. He bounced after this. And this is
because
why
I wanted to pull that coattail. Honey, but he ran out that door. I was like,
And to let you all know, this is why they don't like open panels. This is why they don't like people where they get to speak a little bit and then the public gets to retort or voice their opinion or something. They want to sit up there and have an echo chamber and act like it's some type of political dialogue about reparations. But no, it's not. Now, y'all listen to this.
To that, I will say, social media is important. It's not the only thing that we have. A lot of this work was done without any social media at all, and we need to continue to use it as a tool. I will say, we don't have time to talk about. I wanted to talk about ADOS and FBA, which is also on social media. It's American Descendants of Slaves and Foundation of Black Americans, who I think have some really important things, and actually, frankly, should be probably leading in these spaces. But there's some spaces where I think they make it more difficult to have the conversation. So I think there's a lot to talk about social media, and not just that, but I think those of us here actually use social media to advance these things, and we should just use whatever tool we have.
Did you guys catch that? All right. He said that FBA, let me just repeat, he said that FBA and ADOS should be at the forefront of the conversation. And then he says that in some aspects, we kind of like what he said, we hold the conversation back or something. Let me
want to talk about ADOS and FBA, which is also on social media. It's American Descendants of Slaves and Foundation of Black Americans, who I think have some really important things, and actually, frankly, should be probably leading in these spaces. But there's some spaces where I think they make it more difficult to have the conversation.
So quite frankly, we should be leading the conversation about our reparations and our lineage, but sometimes we make it as FBA more difficult to have the conversation about FBA reparations. What do y'all got to say about that?
I would say this, and I'm gonna make this nice and short. They hear us, they're listening. We lead in this conversation. They know that. So, family, when you do these spaces, of course, handle yourself with decorum, bring, your energy, bring your knowledge. Of course, they are listening. Jumani damn well knows who FBA, is, and he has no choice but to respect it. As far as ADOS, I mean, whatever. But Jumani definitely knows what's going on in these streets. He told you that right there.
Well,
And look. You don't want to be like, you don't want to be, as Jason would say, a monkey cage. You don't want to be like that. Again, you want to handle yourself with decorum, but it's hard, Afro. It's hard to not tell the truth. It's hard when you invite callers. You take callers all the time, Afro. You don't screen your callers. When Jumani ran off stage, because it's hard to face people that know the truth. It's hard to face people that bring facts. So when you have to deal with a person asking you questions that's off the cuff, like Tariq does every night in these spaces, even though he does it at 3 a.m, whatever. Yeah. I gotta
say you want to be a part, but it just be
bro.
It's hard. It's so hard. I fall asleep every night. I'm like, damn it.
No comment. But it's hard, because you see him constantly battling. They can't do that on that stage because they're not coming with truth. So yeah, it's hard to deal with an FBA that knows the truth, and they're not bringing truth to power. So I'll leave it at that. It's on you, Queen.
He knew who was in the audience. He know who we are. We are not foreign to him. So he knew FBA was in the audience. Right. He knew FBA was in the audience. He knew we was in, because like I said, we was the only meatballs in the rice. Okay? It was a sea of white folks. And we were like, so we stood out. So he knew who was in the audience and what we was there for. And I'm sure they have been watching the committee meetings, because we have, I just started putting up the clips from the committee meetings. And now the reason why I did that is because I realized that, as FBA New Yorkers, we kind of move in silence. We do stuff, we don't post it, we don't talk about it, we don't say and then people ask us, what we doing, we be like, we doing it. So I realized that none of us was really tooting our own horns and putting what we have done out there. So I had an epiphany with Brother Divine, and I was like, I'm gonna start cutting it up and putting it on there and putting it up there. So they know who we are. So he knew who he was talking to, and that's why he ran out the room, because he knew. Because even the only person who stayed was Crystal. She's the only person who stayed. And I definitely went to her, and I was telling her, like, why aren't there any FBAs on this panel? Why aren't the people who are qualified? I said, because it is ridiculous to me that we have people talking about reparations who were not even in the country at the time of our enslavement. So how can you open your mouth? How can you fix your face? How can you do any of these things to speak on our reparations? You weren't even here. So, she just gave me her card and was like, you come see me. You know how they do, blah, blah. They want you to spin around on your heels and, clap your hands 3 times. I look, like I said, I'm tired of it. That's why I got down to this email. Since they telling us that, we not putting fire into the legislation, no problem. So we'll give the little fire to the legislators. Since the commission can't do anything, they're bound by this unconstitutional bill. They can't do anything about it. So then we're going to go to the people who have the power to change the bill. And let me add that no one is, again, that no one is unaware that this is unconstitutional. We are talking about people who make laws and bills for a living. One of the women on the Reparations Commission is a lawyer. She's an actual practicing lawyer. So these people know the law. They know it's illegal. They know what's up. So they just, it's like I said, something that we're not, that I want us to pay attention to. I don't want to say we're not, because I'm sure there's some people that are. But when you think about the illegals, there are some people getting paid. Like, there's the people who run the hotels. Now, keep in mind that these hotels were going out of business. They were losing money from COVID. They were all in the red. So, and before, they were going down before. And when you said, Brother Sage, when you said that how come they didn't allow this for the homeless, that was a plan that different homeless organizations, like, you know, or nonprofit organizations to help the homeless, this was actually a plan that they put forth before the illegals came, and it was rejected. So now, like I said, the hotels are getting paid. The whole reason why they gave them debit cards instead of just giving them food was because the businesses in Manhattan are suffering because of, ever since COVID, because people aren't going back to work the way the mayor wanted it. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a video. I remember when Mayor Adams first got elected, that was one of his first HNIC moments. Because he liked to go around puffing his chest up and talking to people crazy like he the HNIC. So that was one of his HNIC moments where he was telling everybody how you better get back to work and I need you to come back to the city and blah, 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 blah. So the businesses around the Manhattan area were losing money. So by giving these illegals debit cards, they're going to spend it in the businesses that are around the area. So understand that a lot of this is a money grab. Okay. There's been numerous articles about how there are numerous foundations that are supposed to be giving them medical care that are funneling the money. The money's going missing. Okay, the people are getting paid that are working at these shelters, that are placing these people, that are the job programs. Everybody's getting paid. Okay, so when they're setting people up for places to look, then they're getting furniture from someplace. There's a contract for this. So as the city is going broke, there are people that are getting paid off of this. It's not just the hotel. Where are they getting the jackets from? The launder service, who's laundering their clothes? See, there are people getting paid, and this is all they diverting funds to wherever this is part of the reason why Eric Adams is going through the legal troubles he's going through, because he tried to do the same thing with his campaign funds. He's taking money from everybody and everything and everywhere. And what makes it so sinister, what he's doing, and this is why if Jumaane Williams wasn't next up at bat, I would be totally for them or just arresting him and getting him out of here. But we got Jumaane Williams next, so it doesn't really matter what we do. But what was happening, what he did in New York was not only did he take money from foreign entities for his campaign, the city matches, the city or the state, I can't remember which one, matches your donations 8 times every dollar. You get $1, they give you 8. So if he is taking campaign money from outside sources, from other countries and other places, and then the city is then matching that money, this is why what he was doing was such a problem. It is not because, because I hear him now trying to, fall back on his blackness. Like, the only reason they're attacking me, is because he's black. No, it's because all around you are misappropriating city funds. We are tired of it. You stole from their campaign, from Go. You were stealing from the taxpayers. From your campaign to what you're giving to all of your friends' companies, the nightclubs. Listen, I could talk for hours on the illegalities of him and his administration and his side pieces and God knows what else. And all of it has nothing to do with reparations.
Well, this is what's going on. This is why what we are doing is so very important. This is why you guys got to make sure that you guys send these emails out, and we need them flooded out. Okay, don't put it off. Okay, send these emails out tonight. Okay, so by tomorrow morning, they're gonna have hundreds of emails. There's been hundreds of people throughout this chat. Okay, so by tomorrow morning, they're gonna wake up and they're gonna have hundreds of emails, each of them hundreds of emails. It is literally as simple as just pressing send. That's all you gotta do. It's literally as simple. Now, if you want to put a little bit of your own 2 cents into it, by all means, go ahead and do that. But it's literally all you got to do is lay it out for you. Just hit that button. All right. This is a very important call to action, because what's going to happen is, if it wasn't for Sister Brooke, if it wasn't for our brother Sage, if it wasn't for the other brothers and sisters that they're with, going to these hearings and being a voice for foundational Black Americans, what they would have done is they would have silently skipped over the part that this is unconstitutional. And then it would have been a lot of talk, because they understand that, and this is the sick part about it, they understand that foundational Black Americans are not used to being heard. Foundational Black Americans are not used to our issues being paid any attention to, you know, and we want to actually be paid attention to. We want our problems and our issues to be focused on. So they understand that it's really easy to press that button. So if they allow us to talk, we oftentimes get lost in the conversation and in expressing ourselves, and they'll slip under the fact and they'll hide the fact that this is a time wasting mechanism, so they can first off build back their credit. Because as you said, Brooke, that the New York, it had a big change in their voter turnout as far as this last election.
Yes,
so they need to kind of get that back on the Democratic Party. All right. And they need to make it seem like they're doing something for FBA. Also, they understand that the conversation of reparations ain't going nowhere. So they can't say we're not going to talk about it. So they want to talk about it, quote unquote, but they want to set it up to fail in the long run.
And profit in the process. Don't forget that part. Skim a little money off the top, scam a little money, whichever word you want to use, scam, I don't know. They trying to take money off the top.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the other part of it. You know, like I said, the ability to use your organizations to get, you know, some funding for something, whether you're doing the research or funding for whatever.
Yeah. Let me and I appreciate y'all time. I really do. Let me show you all the petition one more time. Let me scroll up to the top. Now, I want you guys just to keep this in mind. Signatures are cool. That's nice. It's good to show how many people, signed it, and that's cool. I'm not saying don't do it, but the most important aspect to what we're doing is the emails. Okay, you can do the emails without actually signing the petition. All right. So right now it's at, we refreshed it. We have 121 signatures. So that means we should be at 121 emails. That's what that really, really means. All right. We should be at 121 emails. I know a lot of you all are kind of waiting till after the stream. Y'all don't want to jump off. Okay, but by tomorrow we should have hundreds. Okay, we really should have thousands. We should have thousands of emails sent. What you do when you click the link, okay, you scroll all the way down. This is the video where Brooke is talking about. You can go to this and then you can just subscribe to her channel too. All right. And then it talks about, what we're doing and everything. These are the decision makers. These are the people who are putting, this is the format for the email. These are the decision makers down here. These are the people who are setting the stepping stones up. These are the tethers, okay, because we confirmed that they're tethers. These are the tethers that are setting the stepping stone up to fail, okay? They're putting our reparations conversation on a janky foundation, which they know will sabotage it in the long run. And then next thing you know, it becomes a race issue, even if they just keep it to black. Then it becomes a race issue. And then next thing you know, here comes Ed Bloom, and Ed Bloom comes in and talk about the constitutional lawsuit saying that you can't do nothing based off race. We're suing, we're filing a lawsuit. This is discrimination. And then next thing you know, they're going to be all like, oh, well, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, we tried. We gave it the old college try, and there was just nothing we could do. That damn Ed Bloom and those Republicans. But you guys should vote for us. Because you see the opposition is the Republicans. They're setting it up, and then they're going to allow the Republicans to take the blame, or the conservatives to take the blame for it not going through. When they set it up not to go through. That's the thing.
Absolutely. And then also to register from the Democratic Party.
Yes.
The two things together, because I know a lot of us sat out the election, and then a lot of us also voted red. And I can understand you not wanting to necessarily register as a Republican, but just unregister from the Democratic Party and become a no party independent voter. And that way this will go hand in hand. My vision, right, is because like I said, we have been told on numerous occasions that this commission cannot change the parameters of the bill. Okay. And that what we should be doing, and that's what that link to the petition, that's a video that I did on YouTube where I actually broke down the video of who I was speaking directly to in that testimony that you played earlier. So I had the video of her and what she had to say to us, and she was quite condescending.
I saw it. I did see it. She was throwing shade
all day. And then at the same time, while she's throwing shade, she's talking about, oh, I don't want to throw no shade though, but you're throwing shade, and so I don't know, like, again, if she thought that we weren't going to catch that. But so a lot of the things I was saying, I was taking her words and throwing them right back in her face. So she was one of the ones that was talking about, if you, one of the quotes I remember is she said, if all 44 million of y'all, with her pretend Southern accent, because I doubt she's Southern, if all 44 million of y'all decide that y'all want to yell about this and scream to the commission, what is it going to do at the end of the day? Nothing. So, like I said, her podcast, live, YouTube video, whatever the hell it was, it pissed me off so much that speech you saw, I wrote that in 10 minutes. I was so mad. My hand was hurting. I was gripping that pen so hard. I wrote that in 10 minutes. I was so hot. So, the fact that she keeps telling us what we should and should not do, she's telling us that we need to put pressure on the legislators as if we haven't done that before. Now, like I said, our brother Divine, who's the president of the U.S. Freedmen Project, he had multiple meetings with all of these people. If he couldn't get a meeting with them specifically, he met with somebody in their staff. And they were also redirecting them to some other organization that was saying that was supposed to help with it as well. Let me see if I have the name of that organization somewhere. Oh, I can't find it right now. I'll look for it in the next break. But yeah, so that she keeps acting like they haven't had these meetings. They haven't had these conversations, like they didn't speak to people already. But since it's about whether we need to put pressure on the legislator, that is why I compiled this list to these the legislators for the bill, the sponsors, the co-sponsors. I added the lead sponsors of HR 40 on the one for that one, just like Ayanna Presley and Cory Booker and things like that. And then so there's quite a few legislators that co-sponsored the bill. So it's way more than I seen somebody say I just sent all three. There's definitely more than three. Just hit view all at the bottom. There's quite a few legislators. So my vision is for the Democratic registration numbers to tank, right? So let's say they go from, I don't know how many registered voters they have in the country, but let's say it's 2 million. I don't know. Let's say they have 2 million registered voters. I want in the next few months for that to go down like by half, you know what I mean? Like, or at least by 44 million, you know what I mean? Like 44 million of us, we need to, pull away from them. So, I would like to see their numbers be dramatically reduced because of us unregistering from the Democratic Party. Then simultaneously while we're unregistering from the Democratic Party, that these legislators are receiving emails, because most of these are Democrats. We know that, right? So while the Democratic Party is tanking, they are receiving emails about how unconstitutional this bill is and HR 40 is. And so that will send a message. And then at that point, they will have to come to us.
Yeah, that's how we get it. That's how we get stuff done.
That's how we get it done.
All right. Because they're going to come with hat in hand when they realize right now they think they can wait for whatever reason. They're delusional enough to believe that they can wait us out just the same way that they thought they could wait us out with the last election. We're going to let them know this isn't a trend that's going to die. This isn't something that was going to die. We're not going to lose momentum. We're not going to slow down. We're not going to compromise. This is the new way forward. Okay. The status quo has changed now. So you can either fall and completely not be a viable political party at all, and that's cool, or you can have hat in hand and you can come to the table and say, what do I need to do? Let me sign the check. Just let me know what I need to do to get back in your good graces. Those are your only two options. Would they tell us that we got to compromise, quote unquote, for the lesser of two evils? Well, now we're giving you all the lesser of two evils. You can either do what we say all the way, or you can just not exist anymore. Those are your two evils. You have to deal with it. It's not evil, but to you it's evil. So, you got to deal with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I appreciate you, Brooke. I appreciate your activism. I appreciate you signing this petition and doing all of this stuff to make sure that people know, family, we got a call to action. We have a mission. We got to make sure that we stay on it. Sage, I appreciate your activism. I also appreciate the fact that you are Brother Jason. All of y'all are very on it as far as the hate crime bill. Okay. Because that's something that's very, very important. And it shouldn't only be brought up when we have a major incident. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't have to be where you got a Peyton Gendron running into, because we also got to talk about that happened in New York too, where the shooter came into a grocery store.
Yeah.
Buffalo. Wasn't that Buffalo, New York, right? That's the state of New York, right?
Upstate, yeah, state, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's still
New York.
relevant situation.
Yeah.
And it happened not long ago. That didn't happen long ago. This ain't like the 1950s or something like that. This not happened long ago. So we can't just talk about a hate crime bill when we have a major situation pop off like a Jordan Neely or like another mass shooting or Dylan Roof or whatever the case is. This got to be a consistent thing. Because there's so many situations like Jordan Neely that don't go reported, that we just don't know about.
Right. And there's one more thing. I'm not exactly sure, but I know that there's a lot of talk about this. The next thing we need to work on is the delineation. Well, actually, we need to be working on this simultaneously. And I've been working on the reparations a little bit more, but we need to delineate, like on the state level, state and federal level. That's part of what the bill that the U.S. Freedmen Project put forth. It also talks about us delineating on a state level, and so that's something else. We have to work on multiple things at multiple times. You know, so I know Sister Wani on Twitter, and I think she's been working on delineation, and there's some others, but I feel like all of these things everybody has, you know what I'm saying, all of these things we have to work on at the same time. Everything is important right now. You know, we have to delineate right now. We have to, you know, contact these legislators about this faulty, unconstitutional, illegal, foolish bill right now. We have to contact them about HR 40 and how full of that is right now. We have to talk to them about, you know, about what Brother Sage was talking about as far as our hate crime bill right now. So there are different members of a FBA family that are all working on this together, and all of us need your support.
Yes, it's all hands on deck.
We need to unregister from the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, all hands on deck, everybody. Sage, they're asking if you have a YouTube channel, because they have Brooke's YouTube channel circulating in the chat room.
My YouTube channel is filled with music videos right now, but definitely
Sage is one of them New Yorkers who moves silently.
Yeah, I would definitely want to focus more on getting the emails out and getting that position, but I will be back up here very shortly. And
follow him on
we'll talk
Twitter.
about my YouTube. We'll talk about my YouTube a little later, and you know what I'm talking about, Afro. You know, so I'll be back up here very shortly.
You know you wasn't gonna be able to leave without us talking about it. You already know that.
Yes. If we wasn't up here for a call to action, you know, this is serious. So you know, we'll get to the partying later. But for right now, it's about the emails and getting that work done, and then we'll get to the party time. I promise you guys.
Yeah,
you'll see.
Okay, but since you are active as far as the reparations thing and as far as the hate crime bill thing, if people have if they want to support or if they have a suggestion or anything like that, where can they reach you?
You can reach me on Twitter. What is my Twitter? At Sage Station. You can follow me on Twitter. You also can follow me on IG. Call him .sage. You can follow me there. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sage. I appreciate your work and I appreciate your activism. It doesn't go unnoticed. Brooke, sister, they already got your YouTube in the chat room, so that's already
I've been chatting
circulating.
back in the chat.
Yeah. So, but for the people who might not be active in the chat right now, they're just listening. Where can they find you on YouTube and then, you know, other places?
I'm Brooke on YouTube, BREUCK, and I am Brooke AZ on Twitter. I am Brooke AZ on Instagram, and that's it, right? Brooke AZ on Facebook, I believe, as well. Yeah, but you can find all the rest of my stuff by my IG and my YouTube. You'll have the links, and my Twitter. It'll have the links to everything. And yes, someone asked about am I the girl from Even Melanin? And yes, I am. That is my skincare brand.
No, talk about that. You got a whole skincare brand up here, and you ain't even bought it. I know we handling business, but you know, people gotta look good too while they handling
I know, and I really talk about it. If somebody didn't mention in the chat, I would, because I'd be so firing up about everything else, I forget all about my own business. But yes, I have a skincare brand called Even Melanin. Skin is like my other passion. So yes, I have all kinds of body scrubs and facial scrubs. It's called Even Melanin because when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me that it doesn't matter what shade of melanin that you are, it's beautiful as long as it's even. And so I am definitely about helping everyone achieve even melanin. And so my skincare line for the ladies, it focuses on anti-aging. I'm also big on anti-aging. So it focuses on anti-aging and moisture. I also have an acne line because I suffer from acne, which I hope you can't tell because of my products.
No, it can't. Nobody in this chat room tell. You've been getting compliments the whole time. It can't.
Oh, that is so kind. I miss those. I appreciate it though. But yeah, so I definitely suffer with acne. If I don't be on top of my own skincare products, my own regimen, you will be able to tell on my face. So you know, I specialize in all of these things. So hit me up at evenmelanin.com.
All right.
But after you send those emails.
Yeah, let's stay on
after you send the emails, then you know you can find your way to evenmelanin.com. But go to the emails first. I really need y'all to send those emails.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we will have these guests back, and then we can talk about other subjects and everything. But I wanted to make sure, especially because they're from New York and because they're doing the work about this commission, which I think didn't it start, if I'm not mistaken, didn't it start in November last year? Or when did this like start?
August.
August of last year?
Yeah, I haven't put up those videos. The matter of fact, I'm gonna put those up tonight. As a matter of fact, I have clips from the very first meeting that me, Divine, and Sister Annette from the Freedmen Projects, where we were pretty much the only ones in the audience. So I'm gonna put those videos because I've been editing, you know, all the back ones. But yeah, we've been doing this. That was in August. We didn't even have no jackets or nothing. So and now we all in the winter.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got all hands on deck, family. All hands on deck. So if you are registered, we know Sage ain't. So you ain't gotta worry about it.
I can't unregister.
I'm sorry. Registered, you gotta unregister.
I can't unregister. I'm sorry.
From the Democratic Party. And Sage is excused, okay? And anyone else who is not registered to the Democratic Party is excused, of course, right? But if you are registered to the Democratic Party, please unregister from the Democratic Party. This has their list of registrants, registered voters go down to 0. So then, you know, the Democrats will go from, 1 million to 1,000. I don't know. I'm just making up numbers here. That should be something I should look into. How many of us are registered Democrats and how we can tank those numbers?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And to be very clear, you unregistering from the Democratic Party doesn't automatically make you a Republican. Because I know a lot of people, they're like, I ain't rocking with the Republicans either.
No. You can pick no party independent. No party independent. Even on the petition, I put pictures of how it looks and what you should pick because I know how confusing it can get. So I put very detailed. Sometimes I'm a little too detailed because I understand things are confusing sometimes when you want to help people, but when you get there, it's like, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I tried to put pictures of everything and how it would look in the body of the petition so that, it could kind of be, self-explanatory for people. So if you just kind of read the directions there, it'll show you a picture of what it looks like and which one you should pick.
All right. Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for being here with us. We've been on here for close to 3 hours chopping it up. We have a call to action, brothers and sisters. We should have hundreds of people. Okay. Hundreds of emails. I'm sorry. We should have hundreds of emails sent to them by the morning. All right. They should wake up Tuesday morning. It should be flooded with emails. This is how you get them to change, because going up there, they're going to be like, oh, well, one person didn't like it. 2 people didn't like it, whatever the case is. But if they get the emails that let people know, like, they're not just going to say it. They're actually going to go through the steps. That means if we don't get this language straight, I want to let this be clear. If the language ain't straight, we not moving. It's like a car with no engine. It's not going nowhere. Okay. Y'all can stop the whole hearings now. Y'all might as well not show up to the next one if the language ain't straight. So that's the first and foremost thing. That's the absolute thing. that we need to do. So those emails need to be sent. And then you can, after you're done, then you can unregister if you're registered from the Democratic Party, because we have to show that not only are we upset, we're also we're not choosing them as the lesser of two evils. Okay, we have to show them that. All right.
One more thing. So our next hearing, if you're here in the New York area and you want to attend our next hearing, it is April 10th. It's going to be in the Bronx. I would say follow me on Twitter, which is Bruck AZ. That's BREUCKAZ. And the only reason why I say that is because they change the address sometimes last minute. And it broke my heart last time because people went to the wrong location, because that's what I posted, but they changed it like the week of. So I don't want to say the location of where it's going to be, but it is going to be in the Bronx. But follow me on Twitter, and then I will give you the link to the actual, or if you still have the New York Commission's link, you can put that up as well. The link to the actual commission page, because that'll take the people to the meetings, and they will update the address to where it's going to be there. And make sure you pay attention if you're going to show up that day. Make sure you check the address. Because like I said, they like to do the whammy bammy on us and change the address last minute. They've done that a number of times. Yeah. So, but if you're in the New York area, April 10th, we're having another hearing where you can just go down to this time-wasting, rigmarole, heel-spinning nonsense and just let them know how you feel and get your thoughts on the record. You have 3 minutes. Be prepared, because there's a lot of nonsense you will be hearing, but then it will be us there with actual things that make sense.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you all for being here with us this evening. I will drop you guys down. I appreciate you all
for having us.
No, of course. And I will make sure, because I already gave your YouTube in the chat room, but I will put the Twitter and Instagram and everything so they can be in touch, Thank you all. All right.
Thank you. And thank you, family.
Yes, all right.
Much love to the fam.
Okay, let me get to some of these super chats real quick. Let me get to them. Y'all been very gracious and generous with the super chats. Okay, let me get to them. Let me get to my brother Terrence. Terrence sends the super chat saying, "Great to see our freedmen standing on foundational Black American business. Reparations for descendants of chattel slavery, specific to Black American freedmen." Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Ain't none of those black and brown. Ain't none of that people of color. Ain't none of that. Okay. Sister Queen Nile sends a super sticker. Thank you very much. It's $20 super sticker. Thank you very much. Then our brother Freedmen's Network says, "Family, y'all please embrace division, because it's a mathematical operation that solves the problem." Yeah, it is. We can't. All the inclusive stuff is over with. Okay, we're not wrong for being divisive. The solution is divisive. It's a divisive solution. So we're either going to solve the problem or we're not going to solve the problem. That's it. It's as black and white and cut and dry as that. You either going to solve the problem or you're not. And in order to solve the problem, you're going to have to be divisive. That's just what it is. Ahmad Nisi, shout out to Ahmad Nisi with a $50 super chat, says, "Financially supporting the channel, Afro, salute to Sage and Brooke." Salute to you, sister, and I appreciate your mod work. Then we have Roger says, we have no speed camera in, I think that's LI. Is that LI or LA? Only red lights. Okay. North Carolina $150, and then South Carolina $50. That is crazy. Those red light cameras is crazy, and they particularly put those in Black communities. All right, and thank you for that. Then Freedmen's Network again says, "Sister is correct. We got homeless Black war veterans eating from the trash cans." That's true. But the immigrants, though, they getting the best of the best of the best. Okay. All right, they getting caviar and champagne and shrimp with the sauce, and they dipping it in the sauce and all that stuff. I mean, they just living it up. you can't blame them for breaking into the country if they living like that. I mean, come on. I mean, you can, but you can understand why. Then we go to Tom. My brother Tom says, we are running the yard, man. He's muddying the waters, which is what I'm gonna just call him Jumanji. I think it's Jumanji. It just sounds, it rolls off the tongue easier when you say Jumanji, because it's a game. Jumanji is a game, and he's playing games. I think it fits. Jumanji. I think it fits. All right. And then he says again, Freedmen's Network, back to that division. We need it. We do need it. Okay, we need it. It's the right thing to do. It's the only thing that's going to solve the problem. My brother Cyberdyne sends a super chat. Thank you very much. Sends a $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Then Freedmen's Network again, who's also very active. Freedmen's Network is very active in the reparations thing in New York. All right. So let's be very clear about that. All right. He says Eric Adams testified to Congress that he spent $6.9 billion in taxpayer money on illegals. He did. And he said it several times. He said it over several times. $6.9 billion. All right. You could build a whole city and subsidize a whole city with that much money. And that's in the span of 4 years. All right. He did. He admitted it. All right. Tell It Like It Is says, I done turned half my family on the game and working on the others. All right. So we're going to have a whole big family reunion where everybody is on code. I love to see it. Our sister C. Terry says, B1 from Long Island, New York. Okay, shout out to New York. I'm always in the city. Please let me know if I can help with anything. Please let me know if I can help with anything. Yeah, definitely what you want to do, which I will keep you updated as well, but definitely what you want to do is follow Brooke and Sage, because they're going to be putting out the information and stuff like that, giving you the updates to the next meeting, of next hearing, and all of that, you know, because they're located there. So they get that firsthand, you know. But yeah, definitely if you support them or whatever, you'll definitely be up to date, especially if you're from New York. And then we got my brother Hurricane sends $20 super sticker. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you all tremendously. I really do tremendously appreciate you guys. All right. We have a mission. We have a call to action. We got to solve this. Let me show you guys one more time what the petition is looking like. If we go all the way up to the top, now it was at 121. Now we refresh it. Now we at 158. We got 158 people to sign a petition. Now, just to let you know, and we cannot overstate this, the important part about this, and this is why she made it, because it's not really about the petition. It's more about the emails. So you guys got to put the emails in. You guys got to send the emails. All right. She just did this because this is the easiest way to have a simple link to dozens of emails. You know what I'm saying? Because she put dozens of emails in here. So this is the easiest way to do that. But the email, that's the big deal. Okay. That's the big deal. So that's what we need to be focused on. And you know, also, you don't have to be from New York to sign this either. All right. Or to send the email either. You don't. All right. And shout out to Veronica. Shout out to Veronica for the Cash App. I appreciate you. All right. I do. Thank you so very much for that. Now, with that being said, family, we got a mission. Okay. We know what we need to do. We might as well. Come on. We need 4 more likes. Can we get 4 more likes before we get off? Can we get 4 more likes before we get off so we can get to 800? Can we get 4? Can we get 4 more? That's all we need. With that being said, we got a mission. Okay. We have an agenda. We all have assignments. We got emails to fill. We got, I'm like Sage. I don't get to unregister from the Democrats because I'm not no Democrat. But if you are, you know, it's time to change that. So we got to change that part. And then we got to send the emails like our sister Brooke was saying, all hands on deck. All right. This is very, very important. I appreciate you guys for watching, listening, the super chats, the Cash Apps, everything. I appreciate you all tremendously for that. All right. Make sure you follow Brooke and Sage on their various social media platforms as well too, to stay up to date of what the situation is. Also, since we're talking about social media, follow me so you guys stay up. No, that's the wrong one. Follow me so you guys stay up to it, which is, oh, speaking of horticulture, we got another episode of horticulture. The episode is coming out this Friday. So speaking of which, I guess it was divine that I hit that. Follow me on my various social media, which is Afro Elite on Instagram, and then the Afro Elite on Twitter. All right. And the links to that is in the description below. Also, very important that you guys hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I saw some people in the chat room. They were saying that they're new subscribers. Thank you to the new subscribers. Appreciate you. It's much obliged. Thank you very much. And so you don't miss out, because we're getting really down to the really nitty gritty of what we need to be on. So make sure you don't miss out by hitting that notification bell. All right. I appreciate you, family. You all stay safe. B1 salute to every single last one of you all. Y'all stay safe and y'all stay blessed.